A very good afternoon to you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the home of horsepower, Sandown International Motor Raceway, the home of round 4 of the Victorian State Circuit Racing Championships, the 888 Home Loans Victorian State Circuit Racing Championships, promoted this weekend by the Australian Sports Sedan Association. We have got a huge program, as always, with the State Series to get through. We'll open up proceedings with race number 1 for the weekend with the Excels. The Pocket Rockets will be on track for their first race of the weekend. In just the next few moments, they will make their way around the track. Up next will be the Saloon cars on track, the Aussie Muscle, the V6s and straight 6s from the Australian Saloon cars. Can't wait to see that. 12 months ago, we enjoyed the Saloon Car Nationals here at Sandown International. And let's see how the State Series cars fight it out today. Formula V will be on next. The Buzzin' Hornets. Fantastic open wheeler racing. I was going to say door handle to door handle, but it's more like wheel cap to wheel cap with those open wheelers. The Sports Sedan, the big bangers in the Precision International Sports Sedan Championship is alive and well here today. Of course, this round is promoted and organised and run by the Victorian branch. But the national cars are here. The biggest bangers, the fastest tin tops in the country will be on track at 2:35. Vic V8s, well, I'm going to say they are going to be the second fastest tin tops here this weekend, and they can argue it out with the improved production cars, the the Porsche 944 Challenge as well. After the Vic V8s, another national round will be here, and that will be the Formula Fords. They will be on track at 3:30. Porsche 944 Challenge, and we're looking forward to seeing the 944s on track at 3:55. Improved production combining with E30s at 4:20, and the Toyota 86 Scholarship Series joins us trackside here this weekend. And of course, everything being live streamed right across this big brown land and across the world. We welcome those viewers across Australia and around the world joining us, and yes, we do regularly get international viewers tuning in to the telecast via the Victorian VSRS.com.au blend line, and also by YouTube. So make sure if you are anywhere, even if you are at the track and you want to keep up with everything that is going on via our broadcast, check that out. We're not too far away from seeing the Excels on track. Welcome trackside to Sandown International Motor Raceway. This is round 4 of the Victorian State Circuit Racing Championships, the 888 Home Loans events, and our first event is on track now, the Excels. I'm Darren Smith, right alongside me, Steve DeVries has called many Excel races, and whether he likes it or not, he's a bit of an expert on Excels. Welcome, Steve, to round 4 of the State Series.
Thank you, Darren. Thank you for having me back as always, as we look to the starting grid for the Hyundai Excels for the first race of the weekend. See some familiar names out in front. Bradley James and Hugo Simpson occupying the top 2 spots on the grid, and not too much to separate them in qualifying, just a couple of tenths there, with Harry Strick and Tice Hodge directly behind them on the second row. Then we get to a couple of drivers with some familiar looking surnames there. Mason Kelly and Tabitha Ambrose starting 5th and 6th, some great starting positions for those 2 combatants, with Brendan Sala and William Twining behind them in 7th and 8th. Over the page we go. Ashton Caddick, she's picked up a few wins throughout the course of Excels this year, with Rio Campbell in the 333 entry out of 10th, Ethan Wilson and Emily Jones in 11th and 12th. This is a rather big, long list of Excels. It is the biggest category here this weekend, with Cisco Morales and Jack Carpenter, then back to Jet Bloomeris and Fletcher Simpson. A few new names coming through the ranks of Hyundai Excels in the category this year, which is great to see. We then go across to 17th, which is car number 18 there, which is Aidan Brand, with Lucy Sidwell in 18th. Jack Johnson and Michael Brennan round out the top 20.
Lachlan Harvey will take up position number 21 in car number 25. Thomas Von Dressing in the number 7 out of 22. Bailey Perryman out of 23. Keenan Jones in the 380. That's how many XLs there are out there. We're now going to 3 numbers on the side of the car, just about takes up the whole side. Richard Outram back to Dallas Harvey, Lee Salzman, Joseph Skamozin, and Carly Fleming rounding out the field. In fact, we're probably going to have to watch Carly to push through the field there in the PSG Kinetic Motorsport Hyundai Excel. Have a look at that. They're lined up perfectly, almost Formula One-esque the way they've got themselves nicely in their grid boxes.
Nice quick form up there too, so they're not wanting to waste too much time, because remember, these are timed races here in the Victorian State Race Series. So the more time you have on track, the more laps you get.
Hugo Simpson getting a bit impatient, just giving it up in the rev range. The Adam Macro racing car right alongside with Bradley James. Carrack down the side of that car, poised for a start. There is some vast experience in this top end of the grid. Steve touched on Tabitha Ambrose and Mason Kelly, of course Marcus Ambrose and Todd Kelly's kids, and Bill Sala there as well, a next generation racer, and away we go. It's a really good front row start. They go very much with each other off the line there. The field gets away, no trouble on the grid, and they are totally clear down the long straight here at Sandown, crowding over onto the drivers left of the straight there. Looks like Harry Strick's gone to the inside, goes right to the outside to try and blow the car through there. The 186 of Tyce Hodge holds place. That's exactly how they lined up on the grid. They get through turn 1 in the front of the pack anyway. Everyone gets through turn 1, snake their way down through turn 2 and 3, where you do have to go single file, otherwise you fly through the air and get a bit agricultural about it. The 15 of Mason Kelly is flowing the car nicely. That's what it's all about, XLs. Coming out of turn 4, you want to keep as much speed as you can up there to get up the hill. Underpowered cars, everyone's got exactly the same package just in front of them in that power plant. So it's about the car that can flow at the best. Have a look at this. This is almost like Formula V racing, Steve, the slipstream coming into effect.
Certainly is. You need to use the slipstream here, because as you mentioned, these cars are quite underpowered for the type of car they are. It's roughly 70, 75 sort of horsepower out of the factory motors here. There's not a lot you can do to them. There are, of course, permitted modifications to the engine components, to the suspension, but essentially this is a stock series. So it's very important to keep the momentum up. Once you have that momentum, you've got to be able to flow the car nicely. You don't want to scrub off excess speed when you don't need to scrub that off, because you will be overhauled if you make that sort of mistake.
Down into Dandenong Road, Bill Sala did a terrific job. Managed to get to the inside there in the roadworthy shop. Pink entry, there it goes now. Did a good job there, and it's put it quite a gap back to the next one on the track. And unfortunately, he's gone down a spot off the start. But that top 10 now have broken away from the rest of the field. So that front group ends with Sala. Big lock up there. Was that Twinning that locked it up just in the middle of the pack there? Really hard to tell.
Either Twinning or Kadich. I think it might have been one of the two. They were very close together as they headed into turn 1.
Emily Jones going nicely through 1. Oh! Up on 2 wheels. The 53. That was a very precarious Ethan Wilson up ace high. I like that. The sponsor's named what exactly happened.
Ace is high indeed. They're a bit of a not a sawtooth curve there in turn number 2, but it's a very, very aggressive curve if you get that angle approach wrong. There's a car facing the wrong way.
3 cars round.
Yep, so we've got the 74 car here of Joseph Scarmozinino.
Started off the back of the grid.
Yep, facing the wrong way. There was another 1 or 2 cars that were caught in that as well. It's a local yellow, so no need to put the safety car out at this stage. A couple of cars pick themselves up, dust themselves off, and get going again. Great
to see Lanatech jumping on board to support the Excels through season 2024 here at the 888 Home Loans Victorian State Circuit Racing Championships. We've got some really good subsidiary sponsors on this weekend. Kev the Towie, Raceline Motorsport, Raceway, Speed Gas, Pack Performance from the Rotary World, Mornington Mazda, YTG, the Young Timers Garage, and many, many more will bring you right throughout this weekend.
Here we go. The end of lap number 2. Cars side by side across the line here. These are sort of getting towards the tail end of the top 20. You can see already a few other drivers looking down the inside here because you want to be on that left-hand side for the approach to turn number 1. It is the dirty side of the road, but it is more than possible to hold the line here, and if you get it wrong, you end up on the outside like that, and you can see what happened there.
That's what it looks like.
That's what it looks like. Three different cars with three different approaches. One in the middle of the road, one on the outside of the road that can carry a bit more momentum, one on the inside of the track, needed to get the car stopped, but then scrubbed off too much speed.
You saw William Sala taking the spot off Rio Campbell at turn 1 there. They're already up the back straight now, so a swap for the top 10 there, so just keeping that top 10 intact. Great look back down through the field and getting a good look at everyone as they come through the kink and up the hill. There goes the 53. We saw 2 wheeling it. Ethan Wilson through turns 2 and 3, only a lap ago. 22 going through there, very lively as well. That's Jet Bloomerous. Nice work there. It is Jet Bloomerous going through and being joined there by Cisco Morales. This is a really aggressive part of the field here that we're looking at.
And it's all headed by the 22 machine there of Jet Bloomerous. So there's about 8 or 9 cars that are starting to line up in this little train. Just count them up there, it's about 7 actually, so we're not too far off actually gaining a few more cars. I think the last car in the queue looks like it's Lucy Sidwell, and there's a couple of other cars that are not too far away from making this a really big long lineup coming down the front straight here.
Geez, I tell you what, if you sort of half squint at this could look like a NASCAR straight, couldn't it? The way they're all following each other, weaving from left to right here. You've got to really squint to make it look like that.
Yeah, a little bit, yes.
And probably play a soundtrack over them, but that was what it looked like. Side by side action down into 2. You've got to fall into single file before 3. They do that. Up on 2 wheels again there. This is mid-pack. This is Cisco Morales popping it up in the air there, almost like a dog just taking a leak on a lamppost.
Nice move from Jack Johnson there as well at turn number 2 to grab that position away from Morales. So very smart job here. Here's another move happening down at the top of the hill. This is the top at turn 6. This is a high-speed approach here, and that's Mason Kelly, I think, down the inside of Tabitha Ambrose. So Ambrose had a go, I think, at trying to hold off the advances of the 15 machine, but couldn't make that stick. And now, as Kelly clears away, it's going to be Ambrose having to defend from the 72 machine of Twining, and then Kadich, who started 9th in behind there in 8th place. So there's been very little movement in the top 10, maybe a position up and a position down for a couple of drivers, the ones that have moved so far. Strick has gone up ahead of Hodge. Now Kelly has gone ahead of Ambrose, and then Twining, who started in 8th, is up to 7th. Kadich, who started 9th, has moved up to 8th, and Sala, who started 7th, down to 9th.
And as is customary in Excel Racing, we're seeing the front 2 cars swapping fastest lap. Brad James had the fastest 3rd lap, and then Hugo Simpson has just got the fastest 4th lap now. Getting a good look here. There's one of the Adam Macro Racing cars, and that's the 333, the AMR car there, and that's Rio Campbell. Going back a couple of spots there because Emily Jones has now ticked that box. We saw Sala doing that. It's lap 1, this is the slide down. Whoa, that was Kelly bouncing. There's Sala in the pink roadworthy centre car as well. Nicely in there, but wow, Kelly bouncing it around. Here we go. This is what we want to see. This is the race lead right out in front. The 61 of Bradley James started on pole, has wobbled his way back, wobbled his way forward again. But Hugo Simpson, the 117, a name pretty much synonymous with Excel Racing here at the 888 Home Loans Victorian State Race Series, doing a terrific job. 3rd on the road now is Strick with Hodge, Mason Kelly, Tabitha Ambrose in the Adam Macro Racing entry.
Back to this group of cars with Morales now heading Jack Johnson, so he's found his way back past again. Count the cars as they come into the next shot. So they actually managed to break away from that group of cars that were chasing them down. So it was 7 cars, it's now down to 5. So they've managed to pull a little bit of a gap. Sometimes you just got to work together, Darren. We see this in a lot of Formula Ford. We see it in Formula V as well with the slipstream. You've just got to be able to work together sometimes to bridge a gap to cars that are trying to chase you and then worry about going for positions at the end of the race. But
here we go again. The leaders cocking their legs on the turn 3 ripple strip. Out over the back there, 2 wheels off the ground at the back, doesn't matter. All the steering and all the drivers done through the front of an Excel. The back wheels really, they just stop the back of the car from dragging on the ground. Quote unquote, 4 times Australian rally champion Simon Evans when he was racing front wheel drive rally cars.
Absolutely.
I love that one, out of a guy that won 4 Australian rally championships, particularly in a front wheel drive car. You need the rear wheels, otherwise the back of the car drags on the ground.
It certainly does. Here we go, Simpson, another challenge down at turn 6. This time he has a bit more space. They're going to go side by side, so James shortcuts the circuit. He'll have to give that up because you can't retain the position by going outside the circuit limits. And he gave it up, but he didn't make it very easy for Hugo Simpson, who now takes the lead of this race. He had enough space at the top of the hill, had the slipstream out of turn number 4 all the way to turn 6. Job done.
Steve, this is why we come to the racetrack. I love watching that. That is an absolute stretch of the regulations, rules and skills right there. But no one got hurt. We go on racing. And if it was football, the umpire would have blown the whistle and said, play on, well done. This is racing. For mine, the racetrack ends at the wall. Some say where that yellow line is, and I guess technically that's where it is, but your race is really over if you're at the wall.
Yeah, if you haven't left the margin for error to the wall,
that's right,
your race is absolutely over. Now it'll be interesting to see what Simpson's got in store. He's just set the fastest lap of the race on that last tour, the 1:33.12. So some 0.7 of a second or so away from what he did in qualifying earlier this morning. Has he got the legs to stretch away from James in the 61 here? He's been at the front of the Victorian State Race Series Championships over the last several seasons. He's a race winner. He knows how to get this done. James knows how to run at the front as well, so he's not going to lay down without a fight.
Hugo Simpson now leading the field as they all slowly file their way through the kink, over the causeway, up to the top of the hill now. The Simpson coming around the outside, trying the other side. Now is James. We've got a rollover.
That's at turn 1. That's Lucy Sidwell. That's the snaffle entry on its lid at turn number 1, the exit turn
safety
1.
Car.
And the safety car will be called very quickly, I have no doubt. That's a nasty spot to have rolled over, and there it is. We have seen an Excel roll here before. I believe it was Abby Wingett a couple of years ago at exactly the same spot, and there's glass has been shattered on the road there. Hopefully Lucy's okay, but that is a nasty incident. Unfortunately, has occurred off camera without us having any visual as to what has gone on there, so we can only assume that there's either another car involved or you've clipped the inside curb too aggressively at turn 1, which we've seen happen here before, not just in Excels, but in several categories over the course of time too. You get 2 wheels too far up in the air grabbing that curb, there's a high chance you're going to go over.
I've got to say, the turret doesn't seem to be crushed down too much there, so hopefully we'll see the field come under control and we can see Lucy emerge from the car. Around about 22nd in the race, and I don't care whether it's Excels or it's Formula One, it's that midfield where a lot of these sorts of things start to happen. We don't know what happened, so we can really only surmise of how that's occurred. Obviously there's some smashed glass and debris on the track there, but certainly that was livening up to be a ripping Excel race at the front there, because Hugo Simpson and Brad James had just come out of Dandenong Road corner side by side, and it was going to be on for the lead. These races are all time certain. We're only seeing 1 minute and 20 seconds left on the clock, so I would suggest what we're looking at now is going to be the final result. In fact, I'm not surprised or I'm a bit surprised that race control's gone with a safety car and not a red flag to finish that, but that could happen in the next minute or so. Great to see the Racer Industries safety car out in front there, and as I mentioned at the top of the show, we've got some great subsidiary sponsors that have contributed greatly to making sure that this live broadcast happens out over the live streaming, brought to you via the Blendline TV networks. Of course, 888 Home Loans being the great supporter right throughout the season. It's fantastic to have Mentone Premix on for all of your concreting needs or anything like that. Get down and see Gary. In fact, I'll be doing just that in the not too distant future, and have a look at his Get Exposed aggregate concrete, your driveway, your whatever it might be, get down and see the team at Mentone Premix. Richard at Ringwood Automatics, 45 years of experience down there, and I can certainly vouch for them. My GQ patrol about 20 years ago was done at Ringwood Automatics. So get down and see Richard at Ringwood Automatics. Ben from Black Mamba Racing Products, fabricated roll cages and exhaust systems. And we know and love Ben McLeod from his involvement in the Victorian Sports Sedan Championship, a race winner now, and doing a terrific job in the Red Commodore down in Carrum Downs in Victoria. MPC Auto Speed, our great mate Lee down there to do all your vehicles from open wheelers, tarmac rally, circuit, full restorations in Croydon South. Check them out, and for all of your requirements with your pride and joy, Lee Partridge down at MPC Auto Speed in Croydon. Advanced Car Carriers, from dealership moves, new and used, local and interstate transfers in Melbourne, Sydney and Brisbane, fast and effective on-the-time movers. Contact them for a quote. And Soda Blast, Ringwood, safely remove paint and rust from your car. Our great mate Travis Condon, who races the green Corolla in the Victorian Series and sometimes the National Series. Get down and see Soda Blast Ringwood. Race Fuels are the supplier to the stars and grassroots and everything in between. Believe it or not, but they there's the checkered flag for the Excels, and that will conclude race number one. The race win will go to Hugo Sim from Brad James, then Harry Strick will be the final one on the podium there. Tice Hodge, back to Mason Kelly, Will Twinning, Tabitha Ambrose, Caddick, Will Sala, Emily Jones and Rio Campbell round out our top 11.
Bit of a sad finish to race number one for the Hyundai Excels. Hopefully Lucy's okay down there at turn number one. Hopefully we'll, not sure if we'll see her back at all across the weekend, but we'll get the gossip and we'll bring that to you tomorrow morning when we find out what's happened there. But Hugo Simpson with an early statement here in race number one for the Excels here at round 4 of the Victorian State Circuit Racing Championships.
Plenty of racing to go. Of course, Race Fuels are right across motorsport in, well, let's call it Asia at the moment. GT racing in Japan this weekend, Phillip Island for a race feeding down there, here at Sandown, and of course their pumps 24/7 at Queensland Raceway and Sydney Motorsport Park. And of course their home down in Dandenong, where you can get all of your pump fuel from. This is great shots. The driver is out of the car number 32, driver out, and that was Lucy Sidwell, and gone over to the officials. So fantastic there that we've got the driver safe and sound out of the car. A couple of minutes hanging upside down in the car. I guess it's better to be safe hanging upside down than wandering around trackside. We'll take a quick break because we have got the Saloon cars coming up next, where Dan McCarthy and Emma Dean will bring you all the action in just a few moments.
The ASSA and the Victorian State Race Series would like to acknowledge the amazing contribution from these companies, who through their sponsorship of this round have enabled us to provide live coverage of this weekend's racing on Blendline TV. Without their support, this would not have been possible. Please support our sponsors and watch a great weekend's racing on Blendline TV. Did you know Pack Performance have been servicing the rotary and high performance industry for over 34 years? So for all your rotary and high performance needs, give them a call on 02 9792 7076.
Race Fuels is open for business. Their motto is racing fuel has never been easier. Race Fuels are operating on site here at Sandown this weekend. Fuels are available from the Bowser as well as a full range of drum sizes. Race Fuels have stock for distribution Australia-wide. Racing fuel has never been easier at racetracks with both Race Fuels E85 and Elf Race 102 via Bowsers at Sydney Motorsport Park, Queensland Raceway, The Bend and Malabar. Race Fuels is the leading supplier to motorsport from Vic State to historics to supercars. Race Fuels is the only supplier offering trackside Bowsers and drums.
Raceline Motorsport Racewear are the Victorian distributor for OMP products. They retail an extensive range of only the best brands, including Alpine Stars, Sparco, Bell, and stylo helmets and visors. As well as this, they sell Longacre, hands and stand FHR devices, and so much more.
Advanced Car Carriers has been operating since 1981 and is a major player in Australia's automotive transport industry. They have the knowledge and experience to know what works best for you. They offer a full-service automotive transport company with over 35 years hands-on experience. Their company provides unparalleled service with responsive action and the reliability to ensure the best results are achieved for you and or your organisation. Advanced Car Carriers operates in New South Wales, Victoria and Queensland with the assistance of some carefully selected partners to manage your logistic requirements.
At Soda Blast, we take pride in removing paint and rust from your vehicle and sealed up into epoxy, ready for your restoration ahead. We love what we do because our passion is cars.
YTG, also known as Young Timers Garage, have a wide range of exotic and one-off specialty cars. Be sure to check them out when looking for that special vehicle.
Mentone Premix Concrete, a fourth generation family owned business that is Melbourne's leading supplier of decorative concrete. With a state-of-the-art showroom displaying a variety of finishes and specially trained staff to assist you, the team at Mentone Premix will make the decision process a breeze. Specialising in all aspects of decorative concrete, remember to get exposed with Mentone Premix. With over 45 years of experience, Richard and his team of mechanics at Ringwood Automatics are delighted to assist drivers in Ringwood and throughout Melbourne's east with their automotive needs. They don't just do logbook servicing, but also RWCs, brakes, steering, clutch and radiators. Give them a call on 03 9879 1009. Black Mamba Racing aren't just a race car exhaust specialist or muffler supply to supercars. They are also fabrication specialists and provide race car preparation and track support. In other words, they can transform your car.
Kev the Towie is a local tiltray operator who picks up scrap cars and metal to transport anything you need. His motto, just get it done. Follow him on Facebook or Instagram.
Ready to zoom into your next adventure? Visit Mornington Mazda, your locally owned Mazda dealer since 1993. From the sleek Mazda 3 to the refined CX-5, the empowered CX-60 hybrid, and the dependable BT50, there's something for everyone. Mornington Mazda, where your zoom journey begins.
Make mine a Mornington Mazda. LMCT for 180.
The news is out. MPC Autospeed is now the Australian dealer and installer for app Sportsline products and vehicles.
Yes, the Victorian Saloon cars always show plenty of action, and certainly at Sandown Motor Raceway as well. They are going to be out in just a couple of moments' time. The Hyundai Excel is just being loaded onto the tilt tray, so we'll not be too far away from the action, as I say. I'm Dan McCarthy. Alongside me for the first saloon car race of the weekend is Emma Dean. Great to have you alongside me.
Thanks, Dan. Great to be here. Good afternoon, everyone. It's a beautiful day for racing.
I can't believe how nice it is. The weather forecast for this weekend was meant to be terrible. And
last
Melbourne
night was terrible.
Yes.
Tomorrow doesn't look too flash, but today's fantastic. I think we've got a UV in the 5s. It's great.
There it is, the backdrop of the historic Sandown Raceway. You can see the pit garages, and then all of the cars behind that are parked under tents and all sorts. And a huge field in all of the categories. Looking forward to today's racing action. This is the grid for the saloon cars. A familiar name on pole position 12 months ago when the Saloon Car Nationals were held here. Brad Vaughan, the current Tickford Super 2 driver, took the victory and is the reigning national champion. He's not driven in the Victorian Championship since, but he returns with the Harris Racing Holden and has put it on pole position by a comfortable margin over Travis Lindorf in the number 51 Holden Commodore. The reigning champion, Daniel Johnson, he's had a couple of retirements in the last couple of rounds, but he's starting off nicely this weekend from position number 3, alongside the current championship leader, Karen Pridmore, in the number 66 Commodore. Beyond that, we have Adam Lowndes and Kane Baxter-Smith. Watch for those two. They would have liked to have qualified a little bit further forwards. And then our most recent round winner, Jacob Prestopino, nearly clean swept, took 2 out of the 3. Watch for the youngster. Always hangs the number 99 Commodore sideways. He's always one to watch. And then a South Australian, David Lyons, out of position number 8. Beyond that, we have Kerry Bright, who had an incident in qualifying, caused a red flag. No damage, though. Was able to get back out there and qualified in position number 9. Alongside him is Blake Harris in his AU Falcon. He's just ahead of Justin Shembry and James Jeske on row number 6. Beyond that, Andrew Martin is subbing in place of Tony Ordino. Tony Ordino is here this weekend, but he's racing in the sports sedans, the national sports sedans here this weekend. They're not too far away, actually, so he'll be out in that. So Andrew Martin steps into the number 4 AU Falcon. He'll start alongside Brett Tate. Beyond that, we've got Keegan Gaunt and Chris Jackson, and then Sean Jamison didn't set a time in qualifying. He's always a front runner. If that car has been repaired, look for him to march through the field. But that's a bit of a question mark whether or not the 18 would be repaired in time for this session. What a great field, Emma, of cars this weekend. Such high quality racing in saloon cars and such a good field.
Dan, I agree. I couldn't tell you. I love this category, but I don't know how intelligent I'm going to sound because it's so exciting. It's nose to tail, and not much comes out of my mouth. That's just really good racing. Really, really, really good. Really competitive group. We have Kane Baxter-Smith. Love the elbows out when he gets going. Love the battles that he gets into. So I can't wait to see what's going to unfold. Yeah,
if you've not seen saloon car racing before, it is wheel to wheel, door banging, entertaining racing, and they always deliver, particularly here at Sandown Motor Raceway. We've got a huge field and a huge quality of drivers. This is set to be an absolute cracker. So yes, as you can see, the cars are coming to the end now of their warm-up lap. And you can see there, just on the inside, the curb that's now used as a sort of recovery area. But back in the day, in the 80s, that was the little add-on that went around the inside of the Sandown course. Just so much history around this place, a circuit that's been used since the 60s. So there's so much history around this layout, right in the heart of the suburbs in Melbourne. And of course, it circles around the outside of a horse racing circuit, a bit like Pukekohe over in New Zealand, the now defunct Pukekohe Park, of course. A real shame that that circuit is closed in recent times, and we are very privileged that we are still racing here at the historical Sandown circuit as the cars come onto the pit straight to find their grid positions. Who's your tip for this one? Who do you reckon?
I do have a soft spot for Baxter-Smith. I do. But I've been told in my little journeys down in the garages that Prestipino is the one to watch. Although from qualifying, Brad had it.
He
He had it
certainly
over
did.
everyone by about a second and a half. So who knows? I think it could almost be any of those guys.
Yeah, such quality in the front couple of rows. As we say, the reigning Nationals champion in Vaughan. Alongside him is a former Victorian champion, Travis Lindorf. The reigning champ, number 1, the yellow machine. In 3rd position alongside him is the championship leader. So very good quality in the top 2 rows. We're awaiting the 5-second board as the final couple of cars come into position. And we are underway. A brilliant start by Lindorf. He's got that thing hooked up straight away. Vaughan bogged down ever slightly. And it's going to allow Johnson to have a look up the inside on the run down towards turn number 1. Lindorf's going to lead them down there, but it lost a wheel further back. I'm not quite sure who that is from here, but we have lost a wheel down there. That's happened so early on, and it's going to make it down to turn 1, unfortunately, before the car.
That's not ideal.
No, that is far from ideal. It's strange that it's happened. They must have changed wheels between qualifying and the race. That's the only reason that could happen. But Johnson has made his way past Vaughan, so Vaughan falls from 1st to 3rd. And in fact, he's bogged down on the exit of turn 4. I think there's a problem with the Commodore. He's trying to find a gear. I think he's got a box of neutrals. That thing is rolling to a halt. So Brad Vaughan's machine, he took pole by over a second, but his race is going to come to a halt, a grinding halt on the back straight. What a shame for Brad Vaughan. That means that the rest of the field move up 1 position, but out front it's Lindorf from Johnson. Blake Harris on the tail of Kerry Bright. They're both pushing hard, using all the road on the outside. Here comes Baxter Smith up the inside of Pridmore. That is mighty, mighty close. This is what we love, isn't it, in saloon cars?
Not disappointing. Elbows out in the first lap. I'm loving it.
Safety car has been called, and there's several cars scattered around the race circuit on the opening lap of this one. So quite an unusual start there. Oh, it looks like Vaughan's got the machine back going, and I'm trying to listen in. He's going to try and catch up to the back of the field, or is he going to bring it in the lane? Nevertheless, the pole sitter is out of race victory contention in this one, unfortunately. But what a lap it was in qualifying. It's the qualifying lap record. People are saying it was the lap record, but the qualifying lap record for Brad Vaughan. It was a phenomenal lap, taking pole by over a second, but unfortunately some gremlin has occurred on lap number 1, and he's bringing it in the lane.
They're not disappointing, Dan. The nose to tail already in lap 1, and we've got a rogue donut that brings out the safety car.
Indeed. And there is the stationary Coke-sponsored machine of Whitehead. That is not how he would have wanted to start his weekend. Didn't set a lap time in qualifying, and it looks like in the rush to get it out there for the race, the wheel has not been fitted correctly. Look right at the back, the red car right in the middle of the shot, right at the very back, just driving along all by himself quite slowly already at this point. And then the wheel is about to depart. There it goes. That is very strange. You sometimes see that at high load, but to happen in the middle of a straight, just meters into the race, that is quite unique. But they all got through turn 1 okay, except for Whitehead. But look at how far that wheel went. It's trying to compete by itself.
Well, it's racing.
It certainly is. It knows what it's doing, that's for sure. Although it's missed the apex there, it's gone off. It's through the gravel trap. And unfortunately, its race comes to a halt. It did about 500 metres more than the car. As Kev the Towie, who is sponsoring the race weekend, we've got to thank them for helping us get the coverage on Blendline TV. Kev the Towie is a local tilt tray operator who picks up scrap cars and metal to transport anything you need. His motto is just get it done. Make sure you follow him on Instagram and Facebook. The motto being just get it done. That's exactly what he's doing now. He's getting the job done and allowing us to hopefully get back to green flag racing as quickly as we possibly can. But You know, people talk about the rivalry between Holden and Ford, and these days, of course, in supercars, it's Ford and Chevrolet now, but this is old school, Holden and Ford, and look at that, got 2 Fords, 2 Holdens right at the front.
Well, Dan, I'm an SA native. I'm an Adelaide native. I don't admit that much. And when we came to Melbourne, I was certainly very aware of the Holden-Ford rivalry. So grew up watching Bathurst, grew up with supercars, grew up near Elizabeth. Don't know whether that's fortunately or not, but very much a fan. It's got a soft spot in my heart with this category, so I'm loving watching this.
Well, I'm an SA native as well, so for me, growing up with the Adelaide 500, and always when they got the crowd to cheer Ford or Holden, there was always a lot more for Holden in South Australia. But it's a little more even in Victoria, of course, with the Ford factory at Geelong for so many years, as it's a bit more of a 50-50 split than what it is in South Australia. Already, the volunteer marshals and officials are out there hard at work, and we've got to thank everyone, not just the track marshals and the safety car drivers and everybody, but the people working in race control and behind the scenes that don't quite get the attention they deserve. Everybody has made this event possible, all of those volunteer officials. If you're interested in becoming a volunteer official, visit motorsport.org.au/officials. Can't get much closer to the action than actually being here, talking to the drivers, holding up the safety car boards, etc. Look at that for a spot. Me and Callum Brannigan were lucky enough several years ago now during a Formula Ford race to stand there for just the one race. It was incredible, the speed they came down the hill towards Dandenong Road. It was a remarkable spot to watch from.
Marshalling was actually my intro to racing as well, but it was in rally and it was in the forests.
As we see them weaving to get tyre temperature. That's always been the case in saloon cars. You want to make sure you keep the heat in the rubber so you are ready to go as soon as we get back to green flag racing.
You know, Dan, as you were talking about becoming a volunteer and how easy that is down here and throughout the racing calendar, similarly, this category is actually considered a really great kind of entry level or a really good starter. It's, in terms of racing, a lot of it is expensive, but this is a really good category to get into. The outlay initially isn't that high, and most of the cars are maintained by the drivers or a small team themselves. You don't need the big truck, you don't need the huge team, all the mechanics in tow, and they generally are as close as a racing car can get to coming out of the factory as they were. So there might be some changes in the gearbox, there might be some changes in other little tweaks, but they're a 6-cylinder, and they were a, race on Sunday, drive to work on Monday, typical, Ford and Holden. The guys down there, some of the guys run these cars on whiffs, and some have lots to throw at it, but if you're interested in getting into racing at this level, it's a great entry-level category.
What's great is that there's battles all the way through the field. The front runners that really take this seriously all the way through the field towards the tail end, and we do have some old school machines further back with the likes of the EA Falcons and the like, so they've got their own class, and that's what those faded colours are on the totem pole in 14th and 15th. They're in a older spec class, but we are about to go back to green flag racing. Travis Lindorff leads the way from the reigning Victorian champion Daniel Johnson. It's Holden Ford and then Holden Ford behind that, with the championship leader Karen Pridmore ahead of Kane Baxter Smith. Look out for Adam Lowndes as well in position number 5. We are set, and Lindorff puts the hammer down on the exit of the final corner and has pulled a car with a nice restart for Lindorff, and it looks like Pridmore has gone with Daniel Johnson, but they stay single file down the pit straight so far. Nobody's got an incredible run. A little bit further back, looks like Harris is up the inside, or is he defending from Martin? No, I think he's defending from Martin. Oh, Baxter Smith squeezes to the inside, gets crushed up over the curb, but catches it. He had a huge look there at Karen Pridmore, but Pridmore closed the door. He wasn't allowing that move to occur on the restart, but great clean race in between those two to not make any contact down in turn 1.
Loved that. That was ballsy.
Certainly was, but couldn't quite make it stick that time, and it's actually cost Baxter Smith a bit of time. And now he's going to be looking in the rear vision mirror because Adam Lowndes is on his tail as they head up the hill towards the very fast sweeping left-hander before they head down the hill at down towards Dandenong Road. Or Baxter Smith, a little kick of oversteer again. Here comes Jacob Prestopino on the back of South Australian David Lines. Lines locks up ever so slightly. Oh, there's a bit of contact there. But they get away with it. Just the slightest of slight
Did they
nudges.
swap bits or just kiss?
Just a kiss, I think. And they are able to play on, which is good news for everyone involved. But Prestopino always on the attack. He's got a great run out the final corner. He's going to look there. You could just see a little bit of bodyworks just come dislodged on the tail of Lines there. And he's going to have a look surely to the inside down at turn number 1. Third gear corner in these Saloon cars. It's not quite as slow as you might think. And as a result, Prestopino doesn't send it up the inside this time. Lines understeers wide, 4 wheels over the outside of the curb. And through goes Jacob Prestopino. I wouldn't call that an unforced error. I think that was a forced error. Felt the pressure.
He's living up to what I was told he would show this weekend. I'm liking watching Jacob. I think he started in karts, didn't he, Dan?
I believe so, yes.
You can see that.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, the number 4 machine slow at the very back of the shot.
Andrew Martin.
That's not sure what's happened there, but up the front of the field, Daniel Johnson is on the tail of Travis Lindorf. Last year, Daniel Johnson won the championship, but he did not take a single race victory. So he's on a bit of a victory drought. He won the series with sheer pace and consistency, and really deserved a victory in there. And he was right in there for victories on multiple occasions, but it never quite happened for him. This is a good opportunity for him here today. He is right on the tail of Travis Lindorf, and Karen Pridmore is going with them as well. But time's ticking. Because of that safety car, we only have 2 minutes left. Oh, that's hit the wall. Look, it's lost the right mirror.
This is the replay of Andrew Martin.
Yes.
Jeez, yeah, there was contact. Ooh, bit of
puncture.
contact there, yeah, and he's got a nasty puncture.
I think that's like, oh, big lock up for DJ. Can he get it stopped down there? Oh, he's nearly hit the tail of Travis Lindorf. He had a big look for the lead. He's run wide, 4 wheels through the grass, and he's going to lose positions. He falls down to 4th. He may even fall back behind Adam Lowndes as well. I'm not sure if that's commentator's curse there. I was saying he's in with a great opportunity of taking the win, and he went for it. He wasn't going to go down without a fight. He went for it. It just didn't pay off.
That's the kind of manoeuvre that renders me speechless. I just hold on tight.
No, absolutely. I think we all do. Absolutely. As they head up the hill, Baxter Smith's going to have a look. But yes, DJ,
replay of
just
DJ.
Huge lockup. Couldn't get it stopped. Takes the tour of the grass. It comes back on safely. And we see that Baxter Smith has made it stick on Pridmore. So it's all shuffled around on this lap. DJ and Pridmore have gone backwards. Baxter Smith has picked up not 1, but now 2 places on this lap. So Baxter Smith now the leading Ford in position number 2. But all this has allowed Lindorf to pull quite a considerable margin.
It has. I mean, it's almost like there's a magnet between the back and the front of all these cars. They're that close coming around the back of Dandenong.
So here is what happened on the backstraight. We just saw Baxter Smith pull out as we saw the number 4 car hit the wall, and just nice and easy, had great run. Oh, had a big kick of oversteer mid-corner. Nicely kept that in line and was able to successfully make that move. That's one of the great things about Baxter Smith. He's saying what a great driver he is. He drives the car right on the ragged edge, and you can tell just the way that car was sliding.
But he's not just aggressive for a lack of talent. He's actually aggressive with a lot of talent and great positioning. He's got great track position. He's just not afraid of touching bumpers and panels and all that kind of stuff. He'll take your mirror off.
Yes.
I love it. I love this kind of racing.
Another former champion in this series. As the time has ticked to 0. We have 2 laps remaining. This and 1 more. DJ certainly has the pace. He made that mistake at turn 1 and dropped back to 4th, but he's back there. He's already harassing the tail now of Karen Pridmore, although Pridmore was lock up further forwards. I'll come back to that point in a minute. Baxter Smith, a huge lock up down there at Dandenong Road. The point I was going to make is Daniel Johnson was visibly close to Karen Pridmore, but Pridmore which you could visibly see gapped him over the top of this hill and down into Dandenong Road corner.
In that last shot, we've got Lowndes all over the back of DJ as well. This is so close, like at every point. There's a race everywhere in this. There's about 5 races in this.
Here we go, we're 2 wide, we could even be 3 wide. Baxter Smith slowing, has he got a picture? I think that huge lockup has caused a right front puncture. It looks low on the right front. So this is back on now for second. DJ up the inside of Pridmore, they're side by side over the curb at turn number 1. Pridmore's going to stick it back up the inside himself at turn 2. He retaliates and reclaims that position. Lowndes is watching on. If these two make contact, run wide, he's there to pick up the pieces. Pridmore's got a little bit of smoke on the exit of the corner, but look at the 51. He is gone. 3.5 seconds down the road as these guys scrap for position number 2. And Prestopino with the headlights on is coming into this. The number 85 is, number 96 is on the outside there, the back marker. Could he play a factor? Pridmore holds on to position number 2, but they are going to catch Jackson before the end of this lap. Will the old school Falcon play a factor in these closing corners? Here comes Prestopino, a late move up the inside of Adam Lowndes, but he's got that stopped. A brilliant manoeuvre.
But Adam's holding on.
They're side by side out of the corner. Oh, there's the lap traffic that I was just referring to. And somebody's just run off the road. I think further back it was Lyons. It's all happening in this Saloon Cars race. Lowndes is going to hold on, but out front, Lindorf takes the race victory. Pridmore holds on to take second ahead of Daniel Johnson. And then beyond that is Adam Lowndes, Jacob Prestopino, and how far back is Kane Baxter Smith going to fall? We saw he had a puncture at the start of the final lap. It's still on. Further back, Blake Harris up the inside now of the 45 of Bright. Not going to have the exit, unfortunately. He had the right idea. It's going to be a bit of a drag race, but I think he's going to come up just short. He is, unfortunately. The margin just 1/10.5 as they cross the line. Shembry rounds out the top 10 ahead of Brett Tate, and here is Baxter Smith. He's going to come across the line. He's going to score some championship points, but unfortunately, he might lose another one, will he? No, he's just going to hold on to position number 12, but what a shame. Started the final lap in second, but at least he got some points.
We did talk about the aggressive driving, and this is one of the downsides to aggressive driving.
Yes.
You know, it is supposed to be a gentleman's sport, but this isn't. Like, let's face it, he's got the elbows out, he plays aggressive, and that's what can happen. But look, that top 5, not for a lack of talent.
No. Racing drivers aren't designed to come second.
No. Like racehorses, pretty similar.
Yes, very much so. Very much so. So there are the results in that one then. Travis Lindorf taking the win by 4.5 seconds in the end. Let's not think with 3 laps to go, he was under immense pressure from those behind. But in the end, 4.5 seconds ahead of Kevin Pridmore. Daniel Johnson just 0.3 back. Then we had Adam Lowndes, who held off Prestopino in the final couple of corners. A big gap back to David Lyons. And then as we scroll through, we see Brett Tate in 11th. And yes, there were many finishes in that one, but unfortunately a couple fell by the wayside early on. We're going to take a quick break here. Up next we have the ever slipstreaming Formula V's. The ASSA and the Victorian State Race Series would like to acknowledge the amazing contribution from these companies, who through their sponsorship of this round have enabled us to provide live coverage of this weekend's racing on Blendline TV. Without their support, this would not have been possible. Please support our sponsors and watch a great weekend's racing on Blendline TV. Did you know Pack Performance have been servicing the rotary and high performance industry for over 34 years? So for all your rotary and high performance needs, give them a call on 02 9792 7076.
Race Fuels is open for business. Their motto is racing fuel has never been easier. Race Fuels are operating on site here at Sandown this weekend. Fuels are available from the Bowser as well as a full range of drum sizes. Race Fuels have stock for distribution Australia-wide. Racing fuel has never been easier at racetracks with both Race Fuels E85 and Elf Race 102 via Bowsers at Sydney Motorsport Park, Queensland Raceway, The Bend and Malala. Racefuels is the leading supplier to motorsport from Vic State to historics to supercars. Racefuels is the only supplier offering trackside bowsers and drums.
Raceline Motorsport Racewear are the Victorian distributor for OMP products. They retail an extensive range of only the best brands, including Alpine Stars, Sparco, Bell and Stylo helmets and visors. As well as this, they sell Longacre, Hands and Stand FHR devices, and so much more.
Advanced Car Carriers has been operating since 1981 and is a major player in Australia's automotive transport industry. They have the knowledge and experience to know what works best for you. They offer a full-service automotive transport company with over 35 years hands-on experience. Their company provides unparalleled service with responsive action and the reliability to ensure the best results are achieved for you and or your organisation. Advanced Car Carriers operates in New South Wales, Victoria and Queensland with the assistance of some carefully selected partners to manage your logistic requirements.
At Soda Blast, we take pride in removing paint and rust from your vehicle and sealed up into epoxy, ready for your restoration ahead. We love what we do because our passion is cars.
YTG, also known as Young Timers Garage, have a wide range of exotic and one-off specialty cars. Be sure to check them out when looking for that special vehicle.
Mentone Premix Concrete, a fourth generation family owned business that is Melbourne's leading supplier of decorative concrete. With a state-of-the-art showroom displaying a variety of finishes and specially trained staff to assist you, the team at Mentone Premix will make the decision process a breeze. Specialising in all aspects of decorative concrete, remember to get exposed with Mentone Premix. With over 45 years of experience, Richard and his team of mechanics at Ringwood Automatics are delighted to assist drivers in Ringwood and throughout Melbourne's east with their automotive needs. They don't just do logbook servicing, but also RWCs, brakes, steering, clutch and radiators. Give them a call on 03 9879 1009. Black Mamba Racing aren't just a race car exhaust specialist or muffler supply to supercars. They are also fabrication specialists and provide race car preparation and track support. In other words, they can transform your car.
Kev the Towey is a local till tray operator who picks up scrap cars and metal to transport anything you need. His motto, just get it done. Follow him on Facebook or Instagram.
Make mine a Mornington.
Ready to zoom into your next adventure? Visit Mornington Mazda, your locally owned Mazda dealer since 1993. From the sleek Mazda 3 to the refined CX-5, the empowered CX-60 hybrid, and the dependable BT50, there's something for everyone. Mornington Mazda, where your zoom journey begins.
Make mine a Mornington Mazda. LMCT 4180.
The news is out. MPC Autospeed is now the Australian dealer and installer for app sportsline products and vehicles.
That Man U just saw there, Lee Partridge is starting on the front row of this Formula V race, the first race for them of the weekend. It's set to be a cracker. Qualifying was mighty close, and it went right down to the end with Ash Quiddington stealing pole on the final lap. Looking forward to this one, and as always, calling Formula V's, it's Steve DeFries alongside me. How are you, Steve?
Very good, thank you, Dan. Good to be back in the box again. Formula V taking to the track here. You'd mentioned Ash Quiddington. He managed to snatch pole by only a couple of tenths. It wasn't very much in it at all between himself and the man we just saw on screen, the MPC Auto Speed man himself, Lee Partridge, with the Working Drones Australia sabre there. So that's your top two. Top two in the championship actually make it the top three in the championship, starting 1, 2 and 3. Quiddington, Partridge and Curran, with the ever-fast Jake Rowe making his reappearance in the series, starting out of P4 in the 66 machine for GR Motorsport Electrics. Great to have Jake back in the field this weekend. Over the page we go. Last round rookie of the round, I guess we can call it, or round driver of the round, Rocco Spinley. He certainly turned a few heads at Phillip Island a couple of months ago. He starts 5th alongside Nick Jones, with Brock Hamilton making his return to Formula V competition after that horrendous rollover at Winton back in March. Great to see that he's unscathed and back out there doing what he loves. Alongside him is Ash Clifford in the StarRes.com number 17. With Malachi Windsor and Darren Power 9th and 10th, Josh Munro 11th and Shane Purvis in 12th. And the field is rounded out by Charlie Richardson, Mick Fisher, Cameron Bell, Lucas Kawam, and off the back, all the way from Tasmania in the Beecham number 25 is Adam Prewer.
A good field of entries this weekend, and nice to have the Tasmanian join us for this one in the car normally driven by John Casamati. Here we are, front row of the grid. On the right is the number 12 of Quiddington. On the left, Lee Partridge, and it's a good start from Partridge. Definitely the better of the two down towards turn number 1. An even jump further back as they side draft each other down the very long run towards turn number 1. I'd say it's even longer than Phillip Island, the run down here. It is super long, and it means that the number 12 has got back up the inside. So Quiddington is going to hold first for now, but a great exit out of the corner. Lee Partridge will now have the inside in the Rothmans inspired Williams livery from back in the day in Formula 1.
Certainly is. What a great looking livery that is aboard the number 28. He manages to hold sway into turn number 2. Game of chess now begins. So Partridge might lead them up the hill, but by the time they get to turn 6, don't expect that he will be the man at the head of the queue. You will probably expect to see Quiddington in the Oasis number 12 come sailing past on the run up this big long straight. Talking to a few drivers in the paddock, there's only one real way to describe this circuit. It's basically 2 straights and a couple of corners in between, and that's exactly what happens there. Partridge gets swallowed up not only by the number 12 of Ash Quiddington, but by the 66 of Jake Rowe as well. But that's not a big issue because there's a long way to go in this race, and you always don't want to be the last man or the first man in the queue heading up the hill into Dandenong Road's sequence of corners on the last lap. You've got to play the long game here.
Absolutely. So as they exit the final corner, it's the pole sitter Quiddington out front from Rowe, and then Partridge. Curran is in position number 4, and then we have the number 82 machine of Spinley in 5th. He's already lost a little bit of time to those front 4. They are working together at the moment, intentionally or not, and slightly pulling away from the rest of the chasing pack as Rowe goes to the front now. So that is 3 leaders already in the first 3.5, you'd say, kilometres of this race. Oh, big sideways moment into turn number 2. That cranked sideways really late on in the turn. But he corrected that really nicely, got through that chicane with great effect. And look, he's got a little margin, but this is going to be proof of just how strong the slipstream here is. You can see the trees on the left, just how breezy it is here at Sandown today. So how effective is the slipstream? The answer, very, very effective on the back straight. Look at this. We're 2 wide. We're going to be 3 wide. We could even be 4 wide, but they think better of that. You can't really go 4 wide down here, that's for sure.
No, you certainly can't. Curran moves himself up to position number 2 with that little manoeuvre. But going to the lead of the race is the number 12 again of Ash Quiddington. So plenty of swapping and changing in the early going here, as always is the case in Formula V. There's a couple of distinct packs starting to form here at the moment. So there's this lead group of, it looked about 6 or so cars. It's actually starting to grow a little bit more the longer this train gets. You've got Nick Jones in the number 96 is the last one in the group of 6. And then Hamilton's trying to catch up to his rear tailpipe and drag along with him Ash Clifford and the next car there, Malachi Windsor in the 88. So that's the first group of 9. And then the next car in the shot there is Darren Power. He's in 10th and he's bringing another group of cars with him. So he's got Josh Munro, Shane Purvis and Lucas Kawam all tucked in behind him. So a couple of different battle groups here. Our focus at the moment is on the leading group of cars, continuing to swap and change. And it's important we're looking at this leading group of cars because there is championship implications in play here for the Victorian State Race Series title. We said the top 3 as they run right now on your screen are the top 3 in the championship. They only have this round and one more to go. They're skipping the next round at Phillip Island and we'll see them again at Calder. There's only 15 points between the top 2 in the championship. There's about 38 between the top 3 and they're going to war here again at the top of the hill at turn 6, and Partridge and Curran now go through to 1 and 2. So this is important here because if the points stay the way they are, Lee's going to gain some ground on Ash Quiddington in the State Series Championship, and with such a close group of cars, one mistake at the moment is going to be very, very costly. We saw that at Phillip Island because Lee didn't have the best of rounds and then Ash had overhauled him in the State Series title race. So Lee didn't take a win or a podium finish all round long, which has not been the norm that he's had over the earlier 2 rounds we had at Sandown and at Winton in February and March respectively. So if you make a mistake this late in the season and drop a few points, you're going to get punished.
Absolutely. 3 wide down in towards turn number 1. We now have a 4th leader in Andre Curran.
Correct.
Now, so
4th leader.
Quite remarkable already, but this is what we've come to love in Formula V competition, particularly here at Sandown. We see similar stuff, of course, at Phillip Island, the long drag strip there, but Sandown with the 2 long drag strips on the pit straight, and this one, as they head up the back straight, even longer straight, although it does have this little kink, which in the dry is not a corner, but in certain vehicles in the wet, it very much does become one, as you're trying to get the power down smoothly up the hill. And speaking of up the hill, we are going 3 wide. Rowe's going to send it. Nope, thinks better of it, gets Curran, but slots back in behind Quiddington, who did a couple of rounds, didn't he, last year, Quiddington, but this year the full campaign, and has been a title contender right from the start.
Yeah, he's been a title contender from the minute go in this year's championship. Took pole here in February, took pole here again this morning, so he clearly loves it here at Sandown, and he's been up the pointy end of the standings all season long. And we still have the running joke from Winton when he lost his nose on Sunday that he tried out the world's first air-conditioned Sabre O2 machinery, but his legs would have been a little bit cool after that one, but he still managed to bring home an important points finish there and keep that scoreboard ticking over. So he's definitely been a contender this year. It's pretty much been Partridge and Quiddington as the 2 drivers that have been head and shoulders above the rest this year. Curran's been there or thereabouts. He's been searching for that first race win. He's had plenty of good, strong top 6 finishes. He had a maiden podium last round out at Phillip Island as well, which unfortunately he couldn't convert. He ended up 6th in that first race. But he has been there or thereabouts. That's why he's still mathematically in contention for the championship. Nick Jones technically is still mathematically in contention as well. He's about 70 points back of the leader. That's the pink, or he calls it magenta, the pink and yellow Jacer back there about 6th or 7th in the queue. And he's still in that hunt, but he does need some results to go his way to make an impression.
Yeah, as Curran back up the inside now of Rowe. So it seems to me that if you come on the back straight in the lead, you generally fall down to 3rd position. That's sort of the way it looks to me on the back straight. As the top 4 looked like they were breaking away at one point, but the group behind have closed back in once again, led by Spinley, ahead of Hamilton as we look up the inside. Oh, that was a really awkward line. Yep. It's always awkward when somebody's that far to the left and it's affected his run on the exit of the corner. So Kawam is lost out big time there and could lose out to, is that Brewer? Yes, it is.
That's Cameron Bell.
Oh, yes,
so Cameron Bell in the X Championship winning car from Heath Collinson at the back of the queue here. So these two doing battle for 16th, 17th. We go back to the head of the queue there. You mentioned Adam Brewer. He's slowly making his way through the field. He's picked up 2 or 3 spots since the start of the race. This is getting a little bit awkward down here at turn number 2. Rowe was very narrow for the corner, but did have enough command of space there on the inside for turn number 2, but hasn't lost too much touch with Kieran. That has just given him a little bit of a gap, but as you mentioned, Dan, the wind direction at the moment here at Sandown, it is basically causing a big hole in the air to be punched by the number 32 Aussie Boat Sales entry up the back here, and driving into that slipstream, it is such a powerful force here. Thankfully for Andre's sake for this lap, he hasn't been overhauled. He didn't have enough of a margin, but you know, it's a case of if the wind's pointing one direction compared to the other, it almost magnifies the rate that the actual slipstream can produce. And there's Josh Munro, who's unfortunately come to a halt. I can't quite work out where that is. It's over the backside of the circuit somewhere, probably around turn 2. We're being told it's turn 2.
Here comes Partridge, nice run out of the corner, up the inside of Quiddington, down towards turn number 1. PB lap for the man out front, and he led pretty much the entire lap. That time through a mistake ahead of him at turn number 1 allowed him through, and he stayed ahead. But he's chirping under brakes. He's locked up and run a little bit wide. As look at this for the first time, Spinley vies into the quartet, and he now makes it a quintet at the front of the field. Although Jake Rowe doesn't like that.
Contact
and
and Rowe! Oh, that's a big hit. That's a very, very big hit, and that's we'll have to take a second look at that, but that's a nasty impact for the GR Motorsport Electric 66. Spinley was trying to hold on for a move at turn 3, and there was wheel-to-wheel contact. It's extremely rare in Formula V, but safety car immediately called. This race has been neutralised, and I fear will probably be red flagged. That was a nasty hit, and I am holding my breath here, as will a lot of people watching the broadcast here, because open wheel race cars, they do have protections in place for when they have a rollover, but going into a wall like that could quite be a nasty impact. Medical car will be dispatched. They're on the move. We can see them just in our position here at pit lane. They're on the move very, very quickly as the control of this field has taken place. Now, when the yellow flag flew and the safety car boards came out, Kieran was at the head of the field, but we're now seeing that the number 12 Oasis building entry of Quiddington is leading them across the line. So I didn't see if there was a pass that took place before the race was neutralised, but that's a side story at the moment. The most important story at the moment is the health and well-being of Jake Rowe, who hit that fence on the outside of turn 3 hard.
Yeah, medical team are down there already, which is great news. So let's run you through the order at this point in time then. So Quiddington just about worked his way back to the front ahead of Kieran at the time the safety car was called, because Kieran led the lap prior, but Quiddington just got back in front. And then Kieran in second, Partridge in third, ahead of Spinley. Ash Clifford has chipped away, didn't qualify too nicely, but he's worked his way through the field really nicely, and now sits inside the top 5 on the timing sheets.
Jake's out. That's the important thing for me. Rowe is up, and he's not being assisted at the moment. He's in good health. There he is in the helmet there, just getting into the medical car there. So that's the most positive bit of news that's come out of that incident, is that the driver of that car, number 66, Jake Rowe, is okay. So that's a huge relief, not just to the whole entire Formula V family, but to his own family, Rochelle, his dad Jake, his dad Gary, and the kids here that are here this weekend as well. So good sign. Let's have a look at this on the replay here. So Spinley was up the inside at turn 1. Fair enough. Rowe left in the space. And there's good space here. Rowe tries to get that position back, but Spinley tries to hang it in there. It's front right to rear left contact, and that force of the impact, and Jones went around as well. I'm not sure if that was just by pinching the brake to avoid it, but the actual fact, I saw the tyre departed the rim even in that accident there as well, which that just goes to show you the force of that impact. And I think the force of the impact was so great. Not only did it give the outside Armco a fair whack, but I saw that it looked like there's some debris lodged in the fencing behind the Armco as well. So that's why I was sort of a bit concerned looking at that, because it was such a high impact hit that you don't normally see those sorts of incidents. But thankfully, he's up and walking.
That was just a case of Rowe thought he had the line. He took the traditional line, but Spinley was still there, and it was a case of two people going for the exact same piece of tarmac at the same time, and interlocking wheels in this. But didn't the roll hoop do an incredible job? You can see just above where the helmets are, the roll hoops built into these Formula Vs did a remarkable job. And I believe we're going to see checkered flag this time through.
Yeah, we will see checkered flag this time through. And to think that the bare minimum clearance required from the roll hoop to the front of the car is a mere 5 centimetres. By the regulation, there has to be a minimum 5 centimetre clearance for the driver has to sit under that, and it's precisely for rollovers. But when you look at that and you think that there's been that sort of an impact, that's saved probably Jake Rowe's life. That is astounding safety at its finest. So across the line with the checkered flag on display, with Quiddington across the line first, Curran second and Partridge third. So there will be a little bit of an extension of the points gap between Quiddington and Partridge in the Vic State Series. But after the accident, have a look at this. So you can see there's actually Nick Jones out straight away, and he was first on the scene. So I'll tell you what, if that's not camaraderie at its ultimate sacrifice of a level, that is, I don't know what is. And there's something you can see, there's behind the helmet, there was the damage that was in the fence. So there was a wheel stuck in the fence above the red painted Armco there. So what a sacrifice there for Nick Jones to fall out of, to spin around there and just have the presence of mind to get out. And I remember, because Jake Rowe's done that before as well. He did that at the Winton Formula V Nationals a couple of years ago, where he gave up his own race and jumped out of a car for the safety and the well-being of another competitor. And that's exactly the same thing that Jones has done there. So my hat's off to Nick for that. That's a job well done, and I think we all should probably owe him thanks just to go and check on the welfare of Jake, because that's something that you see very, very rarely in motorsport.
So the results from that one then, in the end, finishing under safety car. Ash Quiddington taking the win from Hyundai Curran. Lee Partridge coming home in third. Spinley fourth. Ash Clifford rounding out the top 5. Beyond that, Brock Hamilton was sort of the next group, then ahead of Malachi Windsor. Shane Purvis, Charlie Richardson and Darren Power rounding out the top 10 positions. Beyond that, Adam Prewer, the Tasmanian, did make his way forwards after qualifying at the tail of the field into 11th. That's a great result for him. So I'm looking forward to seeing his progress continue in the next 2 races. Mick Fisher was next, ahead of Lucas Kawam and Cameron Bell. Josh Munro was an early retirement down at turn number 2, and then we saw the crash for Jake Rowe. Nick Jones was there to assist him when he spun out of contention. But brilliant news that Jake Rowe has extracted himself on his own accord and appears to be unscathed in what was a big crash in Formula V, Darren.
Daniel, you have been at a lot of race meetings this year. Have you seen the first 3 races of the weekend end up with safety cars? This is not good, is it?
No, it certainly
isn't. And I've never called you Daniel before.
No, and don't ever do it again. Yes, absolutely.
I could revert to your off-air nickname, but I won't.
No, I get where you're coming from there. Unfortunately, there's been a bit of a truncated start to proceedings here today, but the national sports sedans are up next, so hopefully that runs without fault. A big field of the big national sports sedans. They'll be back after this break. The ASSA and the Victorian State Race Series would like to acknowledge the amazing contribution from these companies, who through their sponsorship of this round have enabled us to provide live coverage of this weekend's racing on Blendline TV. Without their support, this would not have been possible. Please support our sponsors and watch a great weekend's racing on Blendline TV. Did you know Pack Performance have been servicing the rotary and high performance industry for over 34 years? So for all your rotary and high performance needs, Give them a call on 02 9792 7076.
Race Fuels is open for business. Their motto is racing fuel has never been easier. Race Fuels are operating on site here at Sandown this weekend. Fuels are available from the Bowser as well as a full range of drum sizes. Race Fuels have stock for distribution Australia-wide. Racing fuel has never been easier at racetracks with both Race Fuels E85 and Elf Race 102 via Bowsers at Sydney Motorsport Park, Queensland Raceway, The Bend and Mallee. Race Fuels is the leading supplier to motorsport from big state to historics to supercars. Race Fuels is the only supplier offering trackside Bowsers and drums.
Raceline Motorsport Racewear are the Victorian distributor for OMP products. They retail an extensive range of only the best brands including Alpine Stars, Sparco, Bell and Stylo helmets and visors. As well as this, they sell Longacre, Hands and Stand FHR devices and so much more.
Advanced Car Carriers has been operating since 1981 and is a major player in Australia's automotive transport industry. They have the knowledge and experience to know what works best for you. They offer a full-service automotive transport company with over 35 years hands-on experience. Their company provides unparalleled service with responsive action and the reliability to ensure the best results are achieved for you and or your organisation. Advanced Car Carriers operates in New South Wales, Victoria and Queensland with the assistance of some carefully selected partners to manage your logistic requirements.
At Soda Blast, we take pride in removing paint and rust from your vehicle and sealed up into epoxy, ready for your restoration ahead. We love what we do because our passion is cars.
YTG, also known as Young Timers Garage, have a wide range of exotic and one-off specialty cars. Be sure to check them out when looking for that special vehicle.
Mentone Premix Concrete, a fourth generation family owned business that is Melbourne's leading supplier of decorative concrete. With a state-of-the-art showroom displaying a variety of finishes and specially trained staff to assist you, the team at Mentone Premix will make the decision process a breeze. Specialising in all aspects of decorative concrete, remember to get exposed with Mentone Premix. With over 45 years of experience, Richard and his team of mechanics at Ringwood Automatics are delighted to assist drivers in Ringwood and throughout Melbourne's east with their automotive needs. They don't just do logbook servicing, but also RWCs, brakes, steering, clutch and radiators. Give them a call on 03 9879 1009. Black Mamba Racing aren't just a race car exhaust specialist or muffler supply to supercars. They are also fabrication specialists and provide race car preparation and track support. In other words, they can transform your car.
Kev the Towie is a local tilt tray operator who picks up scrap cars and metal to transport anything you need. His motto, just get it done. Follow him on Facebook or Instagram.
Make mine a Mornington.
Ready to zoom into your next adventure? Visit Mornington Mazda, your locally owned Mazda dealer since 1993. From the sleek Mazda 3 to the refined CX-5, the empowered CX-60 hybrid, and the dependable BT50, there's something for everyone. Mornington Mazda, where your Zoom Zoom journey begins.
Make mine a Mornington Mazda. LMCT 4180.
The news is out. MPC Auto Speed is now the Australian dealer and installer for app sportsline products and vehicles.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. There is a wall repair being taken place down at the exit of Turn 3 after we saw the Rowe Formula V go in there at the the conclusion of the last Formula V race, which was the last race on track. We do have a little bit of a delay. It is being managed, and we'll come back straight after this break.
The ASSA and the Victorian State Race Series would like to acknowledge the amazing contribution from these companies, who through their sponsorship of this round have enabled us to provide live coverage of this weekend's racing on Blendline TV. Without their support, this would not have been possible. Please support our sponsors and watch a great weekend's racing on Blendline TV. Did you know Pack Performance have been servicing the rotary and high performance industry for over 34 years? So for all your rotary and high performance needs, give them a call on 02 9792 7076.
Race Fuels is open for business. Their motto is racing fuel has never been easier. Race Fuels are operating on site here at Sandown this weekend. Fuels are available from the Bowser as well as a full range of drum sizes. Race Fuels have stock for distribution Australia-wide. Racing fuel has never been easier at racetracks with both Race Fuels E85 and Elf Race 102 via Bowsers at Sydney Motorsport Park, Queensland Raceway, The Bend and Malabar. Race Fuels is the leading supplier to motorsport from big state to historics to supercars. Race Fuels is the only supplier offering trackside Bowsers and drums.
Raceline Motorsport Raceway are the Victorian distributor for OMP products. They retail an extensive range of only the best brands, including Alpine Stars, Sparco, Bell and Stylo helmets and visors. As well as this, they sell Longacre, Hands and Stand FHR devices and so much more.
Advanced Car Carriers has been operating since 1981 and is a major player in Australia's automotive transport industry. They have the knowledge and experience to know what works best for you. They offer a full-service automotive transport company with over 35 years hands-on experience. Their company provides unparalleled service with responsive action and the reliability to ensure the best results are achieved for you and or your organisation. Advanced Car Carriers operates in New South Wales, Victoria and Queensland with the assistance of some carefully selected partners to manage your logistic requirements.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We've got the big bangers of Australian motorsport about to jump away. They are parked down there in the marshalling area, and significantly, we are on board with car number 30. This car, only a matter of weeks ago, jagged left when it should have gone right at turn 9 at Sydney Motorsport Park. Considerable damage, front, rear and side. Believe it or not, he lives in Perth. He travelled home. He got a massive crew. Local people on the eastern seaboard got together with a GoFundMe page. All of the Western Australian sports sedan fraternity, fabricators, everyone jumped on board here with this guy, Ryan Humphrey, and here we are. I cannot believe it. We've got this big Falcon with its LS power plant on board. So a Ford with a Chev in it, which is standard in sports sedan trim. And I've actually got goosebumps because it's fantastic. What a great effort to get this car over to the western seaboard, all the way back to the east, repaired, and he will come out of position number 8. A fantastic story to lead us right into this round. I'm Darren Smith, and I have been joined by the 2004 and 2008 national champion, which was the Kerrick Sports Sedan Series back then. Darren Hossack, welcome.
Great to be here, Daz. I'm pretty excited about this race, just quietly.
It's like a couple of old blokes. We're up on our toes here, aren't we? All G'd up. You, of course, know exactly what all these drivers are going through. And as we roll through the grid there, we'll get through that. It's Steve Tomasi who got through on pole on a 107.94 to Pete Ingram, to Thomas Randall out of position number 3, Jeff Taunton, Ash Jarvis, Stephen Lacey, Ray Hislop in the 23, Ryan Humphrey we just seen on board with Michael Robinson in the coaching room Monaro, Mark Duggan in the VB Aston, Daniel Tomasi on return in the 300 ZX, Antonio Malusi, Matt Ingram, Tony Ordino, and Graham Gilliland bringing out the back of the field there with a couple of other cars behind him heading out onto track. Daz, what are you doing in a sports sedan on 3/4 of a warm-up lap before the start of a race like this?
Well, it's tough for these guys. I mean, these tyres that they're on are actually quite durable, and as we saw in qualifying, Steve Tomasi set his quickest lap on the last lap that he did. So, you know, they're trying to get as much temperature into the tyres, the brakes, everything that they can. If they've made changes to the car or repairs to the car, in the case of some of the cars, they're probably checking to see is the repair actually a successful one. So there'll be a lot going through their minds in a very short space. You know, 3/4 of a lap round here before you get the green is not very far.
It really is a short, sharp warm-up, and we're just watching our pole sitter, Stephen Tomasi, national champion from a couple of years ago. He knows what it's all about. This car has been notoriously fast in a straight line. If you're going to bring a car to Sandown, particularly in sports sedans, you want it to be fast in a straight line.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, Steve and Daniel have been renowned for their straight line handling, as I call it, for years. I've experienced, I've been on the, you know, chasing them before, and I know how well their cars go in a straight line. But you've got to say, Peter Ingram, I mean, hats off to him. Never been to this track before. Out-qualifies Thomas Randall, who I know he didn't put new tyres on this morning and everything, but I just think, you know, that car this year, those guys, they're doing a fantastic job, and you know, the championship is wide open.
A new player, Pete Ingram, in the Aussie Play car there, the RX-7, car number 32, right on the front row of the grid. National champion next to him, a current supercar driver behind him, the owner of Mark Cars behind him here, this Pace Innovations built car, getting some fantastic race results this year. And we are set for a start. There it is. They burst away. All the horsepower in the world unleashed on the straight here at Sandown. On board with car 30, Ryan Humphrey down into turn 1, past the famous grandstand. It's Tomasi. It's Randall. Big lock up on the RX-7 there, down into turn number 1. And Taunton follows around the outside. But it was Stephen Lacey, the New South Wales Sports Sedan champion. He locked it up in his Mark car down through turns 2 and 3. Huge lock up there. That is the RX-8. In fact, that looks like an engine failure there for that RX-8. That is a Daytona 24-hour class-winning car right there. A huge happy birthday in recent times with this car. It looks to be going again. It does look to be going there, so yes, it is.
Might have had a bit of body rub there on the left rear corner. It looked like someone had got into him a little bit, so let's hope that that is only a bit of tyre smoke and he can continue on there.
Ashley Jarvis mixed up in the middle, and the Tefel Smith-owned Monaro there as well. Here's Ryan Humphrey. I've got to say, Darren, he's a winner already as far as I'm concerned. That lead into this event is massive. Michael Robinson now in the 33. Number 33, Monaro. He's right behind Ryan as well, and he would like to get through. Multiple 50k plate winning driver there as we see Tomasi to Randall. Pete Ingram, Stephen Lacey up 2 and Ash Jarvis up 1. They complete lap number 1. There goes the 2012 winning championship Aston Martin in the hands of Kerry Bailey, now being driven by Mark Duggan, and he goes through nicely as well. Down into turn 1 and 2 now. There is a permanent yellow flag being held between 2 and 4 due to some damage down there on the wall. Ray Hislop won many, many races here in a Ford product in improved production. He's now got this Stone Brothers, Tickford supercar on board now with Ryan Humphrey. Gee, this is, it's like a big brick going through the air, but he has got this LS tuned up, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's going really well. I was fortunate enough to have a look at some of his onboard footage, and he's doing a really good job. You know, this track's a little bit daunting if you haven't been here before. The walls are very close, so it's not very forgiving, and you know, he's keeping up there okay. And I think really, the end of this weekend, if they can push that thing back into the trailer, it's an absolute success.
Yeah, they've got a bit of time between now and the next round, which is the Bathurst International, so a good couple of months for them to go home, have a bit of a rest, probably catch up on some sleep as well, and turn the car around. Tomasi squirreling under brakes down at turn 1 over the bumps. There's Thomas Randall in the Snow River Caravans Saab, the family Saab that's been around for some time now. He's bouncing it over the curbs. Have a look at that. Yeah, that is how you get around in a Saab.
I must say, Thomas's car didn't look very compliant with the bumps in qualifying. It looked very difficult to drive, let's say, coming onto the straight, and there I'd say they've made a change to the rear of the car, because to be able to smash the curbs like that, it's definitely riding the bumps a little better than it was this morning.
Stephen Lacey, he's in the red Mustang there. That's a Mark-built car. We're used to seeing him in the Steve's Toy Shop Camaro, and great to see a new car coming out there. There's Jeff Taunton, the guy from Mark Cars, behind Ash Jarvis there in the TFL 44 Smith-owned Monaro. But this is the Mark car of Jeff Taunton doing a terrific job. Jeff's going to have his hands full in the next lap or so with Ray Hislop ranging in the background there. Tomasi comes across the strike to lead lap number 3. And boy, that turbocharged rotary of Pete Ingram is in massive pursuit now of Thomas Randall. Under brakes, the Aussie play. RX-7, pace innovations across the rear wing. Tomasi fastest lap of 109. We're still a long way off the 107.44, which is Thomas Randall's lap record.
Yeah, it's the guys may even be running some older tyres in this first race. They allowed 2 sets over the course of the weekend, one being a pre.
So this is a replay. Our leaders coming around. Tomasi goes through. Oh, and it's our third car in the line. That's that RX-7 we've just been talking about. Pete Ingram in the number 32 runs wide. Thank goodness for that hard stand off the back of the ripple strip. Wasn't there when I raced here, mate, but it's there now.
Yeah, a little bit forgiving down there now. There is a bit of runoff, and yeah, look, he's lost a little bit of time there, but not too much. It's interesting that Steve was able to gap Thomas a little bit on that previous lap. So Thomas fires back there this time. He's done a 9.3 on the last lap, so closed the gap up a little bit. So this could be heating up a little bit at the front.
Certainly interesting. We've got a number of championship-winning cars in the fray here this weekend. Tomasi car out in front, and Daniel, his dad, in the number 99. That old 300 ZX, which was Kerry Bailey's car right back when it won a championship, just going through shot now there as well. This car on screen, the Duggan Aston, won the series in 2012. So there's the 300 ZX I'm talking about. Great to have the Precision International 99 back on track with Daniel at the wheel. A guy who is super committed, works feverishly in the background with the likes of Michael Robinson and John Gourlay to make sure that this championship goes on. And round he goes, just as we're talking him up. Didn't hit the wall, that's nice. He's only got a couple of cars to get through as he tries to engage. There's the flame out there. And this is the race back now for positions 4, 5 and 6. Just while we're watching these guys sort each other out, Darren, we just touched on John Gourlay, Jordan Caruso. Those guys had a fire at the last round, and it's a full rebuild on that car.
Yeah, that car's down to a bare chassis now. It's been down at DNF Racing and had a few modifications done to it. And John's sort of taking his time to put it back together properly. It's done a lot of racing, and the focus now is to get the new car, or the second car, to get that finished and get it out to the track and see how it goes.
So your car is having a full rebirth. It's not 9 years old, it's about 15 years old. You had to remind John that.
Yeah, John said it was about 8 years old, and I reminded him we bought that car out in 2008. So
Here we go. The koalas are out up on the Corrigan Road. Gum trees there. They're getting the good vantage point, looking out over what was Rothman's Rise. Still is, as far as I'm concerned. Randall now right into the back of the Precision International Calibra of Stephen Tomasi. This is awesome. Demonic black sports sedans, 1 and 2 on the road. Drivers just absolutely committed to this category, to the race, to the flames out the back of the Calibra. They're licking up over the front of this Saab. Now this Saab looks pretty big in your mirrors when it's coming up on it, doesn't it?
It does. Steve got a good run onto the straight then. They've got that car putting its power down very well. Not sure what tyres Steve's running on that car, but I know Thomas has got the older tyres on. So that probably took a few extra laps to bring them on, being an older tyre. But I can tell you what, Daz, they're on now.
Aren't they ever? These two are absolutely hooked up. This is why we come to the racetrack and love the Precision International Sports Sedans. Big shout out to everyone here at the track that's made their way to the National Sports Sedans. This is what it's all about. Up the back straight. 2 demonic black sports sedans, pieces flying off the Saab. It had a repair overnight after Thomas had a bit of an off yesterday. It might have been a dive plane that's come loose there. Can't quite pick up. No, the dive plane looks to be intact. Maybe it was something off the rear splitter of the Calibra. But certainly some debris came flying off one of these two cars.
Yeah, fortunately it cleared the track. How would you like to look in the mirror and see the bloke who qualified pole last weekend in a supercar behind you?
I reckon Steve's feeling pretty proud of himself, to be honest with you. He's not a full-time driver, he's a builder.
No, and I pointed that out to him. I said, mate, last week you were working on the car while Thomas was racing. So, no credit to him. You know, he's probably flicked that mirror down, I reckon. I don't think he's looking in it.
Yeah, certainly. And Stephen, well, he did a huge apprenticeship behind two of the legends of the game, yourself and Tony Ricciardello, so he knows how to do it. He's been shown exactly where to put the car on the track when you've got a fast car coming at you. So he's done a lot of racing in sports sedans. He's got a national title under his belt. Have a look at this, Stephen Lacey now. He's got Jarvis behind him. And then we have got Jeffrey Taunton in the number 95 Mark car. So it is a fully compliant sports sedan, so there's no question about that. 6 litre on board. I think Lacey's car's actually got the 5 litre on board, so he's giving up a little bit here. But the Smith-owned car that Ash Jarvis is driving looks out beside the outside the aero stream there, the slipstream there of the red car of Lacey. Down into Dandenong Road.
The car, the 44 of Ash Jarvis, they actually broke a diff in qualifying this morning. So they've got somewhat of a Winton diff in the car. Here we go. Thomas has got past Stevie.
Under brakes down into turn number 1. Threshold of braking. The Saab was just bobbling around on its front wheels there. All the weight to the front wheels there, and he's turned it in. Steve got not an answer for him at the bottom of the straight. Now we're seeing flames out the side of the Saab as well. So running that race 102 or the E95 85 fuel out of race fuels, doing a very good job. Big orange flag. Here we go, replay. Where Randall set him up coming out of the S's onto the straight there. Gilliland has been watching that. It would be like a live in your lounge room on the biggest screen you've ever seen. There's Graham Gilliland in the triple rotor. Orange RX-7 just getting a lap put on him now. Have a look how relaxed Thomas looks in the car, just sitting up beside the B pillar there. Head just nice and forward. He's now got Stephen Tomasi in behind him. Steve just feeling the balance of the car. 3.5 minutes left in this one, up over the ripple strip. Getting a little bit desperate there, Steve Tomasi. They'll be getting pretty hot on board there now. What's your mindset if you're Steve Tomasi?
Well, I think the first thing probably Steve's got to remember, and I'm sure he is that he's not really in the race with Thomas because Thomas isn't doing the whole championship. Steve's in third in the championship and clawing his way back from a couple of difficult rounds. So this is still a good points haul against a guy that is not running the full championship. So it's very easy to get sucked in. Let's face it, we all want to win. But at the same time, you know, I think he'll be happy to just bring it home. But I hope he forgets about the championship, Daz, and I hope he gets out there and has a race and puts one to or puts it to Thomas a little bit, because that's what we want to see.
Certainly, I think all sports sedaners, when it comes to it, it's about greeting the checkered flag first each and every single time. Oh, this is a rare mistake here. Ray Hislop just goes off in the Newlon Falcon, regains in the number 23, and he's got the Duggan Aston behind him. Have a look at this, Tomasi now. He's peppering the back of the Saab there into the S's. This is where the Saab got the Calibra 2 laps ago. Tomasi looking to the inside. It's all about flowing the car through there with 700 plus horsepower. Look at this. Randall covering off the inside line to turn 1. Tomasi weaving on the straight here. Pulls out. This is a big run under brakes. Tomasi's got the inside.
Around the outside.
Brilliant, brave racing there by Tomasi in the number 9. But Randall has to comply. You can't go 2x2 through here. You've got to comply. Stephen Tomasi gets Thomas Randall in the Saab. It is on. This reminds me of 2013 when it was a red Alpha and it was a grey Audi doing battle. We've got the Calibra and the Saab doing battle now. Ding-dong battle with maybe 2 laps left in this race. Stephen Tomasi takes the lead in the Precision International Sports Sedans, and he's in the Precision International Calibra.
That's an impressive move. I mean, to go around the outside of anyone at turn 1 is impressive. A current V8 supercar driver, that is very, very impressive. I mean, and yeah, I'm going to say when Stevie got past him, maybe made a mistake, because Thomas seemed to have a lot of speed on him in this section of the track, and now he's able to drive away from Thomas. So maybe a misgear or something like that. Tyre pressures, maybe Thomas has overpressured the tyres. It is quite warm outside there now, and the tyres will be well past their best. And it doesn't look like Thomas has got too much.
The timesheet's telling the tale at the moment, Darren. It's a 1:10.3 to Tomasi last time round. It's a 1:11.4 to Thomas. That's a 1.1 second deficit to the 49 Saab on the last lap. They're both running the hand-cooked tyres. They've both been able to cycle them into it. We know that Thomas is on a used tyre. We're not sure on what Daniel was on, and Thomas is actually trying to feel the tyre under him. Here's the Hislop lock-up down into turn number 1. That's more than a lock-up, isn't it? He's going home on a 50% piece right now.
Yeah,
right front.
He sort of kept it mobile, so it won't be a comfortable ride. Randall, he's pulled up at turn 6 on the outside. I wonder if something's broken. He's actually made the wall up there, and he was weaving, Daz, a bit backwards and forwards, like he was feeling something that didn't feel right on the car, and
we've gone safety car too.
Yeah.
So Thomas Randall came over the causeway through the kink, and Hislop has gone off as well. Same spot where he locked up last lap around. He's got issues on the Newlon Falcon. But definitely Thomas Randall was moving the car left to right to try and feel something as he came over the causeway and up the kink. Here's number 32. He will now move into P2 on the road, as Tomasi just looking out from behind the Racer Industries Sparco supported safety car. Here's Randall. He was going quick too.
Flat tyre there.
And hit the wall hard enough that he bounced back as well. So that would have been a nasty, nasty old feeling. We just need to ask Todd Hazelwood about that, going wrong up there. And it's a flat tyre on this one as well.
Well, I think we know what caused that one, don't we?
He torched that. Absolutely torched it down at turn 1. A rare mistake from a great race car driver in Ray Hislop.
That sort of makes sense now why Stevie was able to get back around the outside of Thomas. Like, it's understandable when you realise that he had a flat tyre. So
great shot here, head on. This is Randall over the bumps. Yes, that right front issues there. Trying to turn it. Yeah. Oh, and a bit of a bump off the wall there. That will not have been nice. And that's the same corner that they fixed last night after a little off during practice yesterday.
The resin will still be a bit damp from the repair yesterday, and unfortunately it's copped it again. But hopefully it's just cosmetic, and these cars, they are sort of fiberglass and carbon, and as painful as it is, they can be repaired. The main thing is the wheels are still pointing in the same direction, and the rest is a more easy repair. So
I've got to say, a very rare mistake from Thomas. I've followed his career from early days in karting and into Formula Ford and Formula 4 and then overseas. He rarely makes a mistake, and if there is, we're going to have a look at this wrist. Hislop lock up again. Gee, they pump out some smoke when they lock up a wheel.
Well, that's the second one there, and we can see that the first one did half the work, and the second one got the job done. So flat front tyre and off the track. But yeah, I mean, you make a good point. You know, someone of Thomas's calibre, he doesn't make mistakes, and when you see something like that happen, it's generally going to be a component failure of some description.
Great to see car 30 finishing this race. He's come home in 7th place. Let's have a look at the results, albeit under safety car. It'll be Stephen Tomasi that takes race number 1, an important 30 points. It barely makes a dent on Pete Ingram's championship lead. He comes home in position number 32. Stephen Lacey, New South Wales champion in 3. Ash Jarvis, a great result in the 44 there. Jeff Taunton in the 95, home in P5. Michael Robinson has turned the wick up in racing, which he's renowned for doing, out of 9th. Robbo home in 6th. Great to see the Dark Monaro doing that. Ryan Humphrey, a celebration, some beers, whatever, champagne. Go have a swim in some champagne, Ryan. You're a winner as far as everyone is concerned, and a torrid old month you've had, mate. Mark Duggan home in 8th. Tony Ordino came from the rear of the grid. And for Image Racing, it is the Maluso Falcon. Thomas Randall, well classified there at the moment in 11th. Ray Hislop parked it up, and Graham Gilliland was rolling at the end there. There he is, the number 21, just going across the line, so he is classified there as well. So confirmation, if you like, provisional results on the screen. Randall, Hislop in 12 and 13. Gilliland, Daniel Tomasi not finishing, and we get a good look at the Gilliland triple rotor. Was a twin rotor until about 18 months ago, now a triple rotor. And that is race 1 for the weekend for the Precision International Sports Sedans. They will be on track again tomorrow at 10:55 and again at 2:50. Darren Hossack, thank you so much for all of your insight and work around the paddock here this weekend. It's been great. You've been helping some of the new blokes to Sandown as well, just having a chat with them. Do you enjoy that sort of thing?
Yeah, I do. I've done a lot of laps around here, and you know, if I can pass on a few tips to the likes of Ryan Humphrey and Pete Ingram and people like that haven't been here before, I'm more than happy to. The one thing I will say before I go is that the biggest disappointment here, other than Thomas, you know, not finishing the race, is that now it splits him and Steve tomorrow. So that fantastic battle that we just witnessed, Thomas will be starting down the back, and that'll give Steve a bit of an easy run. So hopefully by the third race they're back together, and we can see a bit more of that.
Well, we're going to take a quick break while we get Thomas Randall's Snowy River Caravan sub removed from the wall. Stay tuned, because we have got the Vic V8s on track in the not too distant future.
At Soda Blast, we take pride in removing paint and rust from your vehicle and sealed up into epoxy, ready for your restoration ahead. We love what we do because our passion is cars.
YTG, also known as Young Timers Garage, have a wide range of exotic and one-off specialty cars. Be sure to check them out when looking for that special vehicle.
Mentone Premix Concrete, a 4th generation family owned business that is Melbourne's leading supplier of decorative concrete. With a state-of-the-art showroom displaying a variety of finishes and specially trained staff to assist you, the team at Mentone Premix will make the decision process a breeze. Specialising in all aspects of decorative concrete, remember to get exposed with Mentone Premix. With over 45 years of experience, Richard and his team of mechanics at Ringwood Automatics are delighted to assist drivers in Ringwood and throughout Melbourne's east with their automotive needs. They don't just do logbook servicing, but also RWCs, brakes, steering, clutch and radiators. Give them a call on 03 9879 1009. Black Mamba Racing aren't just a race car exhaust specialist or muffler supply to supercars. They're also fabrication specialists and provide race car preparation and track support. In other words, they can transform your car.
Kev the Towie is a local tilt tray operator who picks up scrap cars and metal to transport anything you need. His motto, just get it done. Follow him on Facebook or Instagram.
Ready to zoom into your next adventure? Visit Mornington Mazda, your locally owned Mazda dealer since 1993. From the sleek Mazda 3 to the refined CX-5, the empowered CX-60 hybrid, and the dependable BT50, there's something for everyone. Mornington Mazda, where your zoom journey begins.
Make mine a Mornington Mazda. LMCT 4180.
The news is out. MPC Auto Speed is now the Australian dealer and installer for app sportsline products and vehicles.
Live pictures now from Sandown International Motor Raceway, round 4 of the Victorian State Circuit Racing Championships. Check it all out at www.vsrs.com.au. Thomas Randall, current V8 supercar racer, on pole position in last weekend's round in the Apple Isle in Tasmania. Unfortunately found the wall in that race after a tyre issue on the right front. And this is a sad result there. A guy that does not make mistakes, and it'll be interesting to get down to the bottom of this. Great to have Darren Hossack, former champion of this class and very, very knowledgeable motorsport brain, join us for the race. And this car just being trying to put onto the flatbed tow truck to create no more damage than is absolutely necessary. Dan McCarthy has jumped right alongside me again. Darren Smith, just as we wait for the Vic V8s to come on track. Let's hope there's not too much of a lengthy wall repair there, although there is now 5 or 6 rows of tyres and a bit of belting across the front.
Well, that's exactly why they changed that, of course. In years gone by, we saw Will Davison go backwards up there. We saw Lee Holdsworth had a big crash. But I think the real nail in the coffin for that corner was that huge crash for Todd Hazel here a number of years ago, where he went flipping up into the air and came crashing back down on his roof. Fortunately, he got out of that unscathed, but soon afterwards they made it a nice tarmac runoff instead of a very small grass runoff with that old school tyre barrier that's really been upgraded, and it's really shown there exactly why it was done. But I'm surprised you still have a voice, Darren, after that. You were on the rev limiter for the whole entire race there. Awesome stuff. We said, didn't we, coming into this weekend, National Sports Sedans are going to be absolutely awesome, and they well and truly delivered.
It really does. It never ceases to amaze me. I've been absolutely fortunate enough to have called about 15 years of this national series with our great mate Gary O'Brien and various others, Jeff Boyd and some others over the years, but they never cease to amaze me, the engineering, imagination and skill that these bespoke Australian sports sedans have turned to them. And the fact that Thomas still comes back and drives the family-owned sports sedan is not only testament to the family, but to him as well. He's a busy professional race car driver, and it's really cool to see him, and it's actually testament to him as well. He loves coming along and enjoying the family type of atmosphere for this sort of racing. And this is what state series level racing is all about. Yeah, we're talking about a national championship, but this event is the Victorian State Circuit Racing Championships. And our next round, which if you've enjoyed the coverage so far, let me tell you, Phillip Island will turn it on for the next round on the 4th, 5th and 6th of October. A great time to get to Phillip Island because the world goes crazy in Melbourne for aerial ping pong sports and that sort of thing. So get out of Melbourne and head to Phillip Island for round 5. And then, of course, we head back to Calder Park at the end of that month in October, 25, 26 and 27 to Calder Park. That's a good one for you. The doors come open on the Saab there, so that's just getting any of the odours out for the lap back round there. Let's hope it doesn't get taken off as they go around a corner somewhere. That's close to home for you, Dan, Calder. It's a lot closer to Adelaide than what any of the other tracks are.
I suppose. they're all about 8 hours or more, but yes, that's the closest of the Victorian tracks, that's for certain. But as well, round 5, you're saying about Phillip Island. I like to see all the grandstands going up at that time of year for MotoGP. It really does look the part, Phillip Island.
What's it for, MotoGP? I thought it was for the state race. Just that we don't sell enough tickets to fill them. Okay, so there's another race that goes on there. Let's have a look at the Vic V8s coming out next. Fantastic day here for racing as part of round 4 of the Victorian State Circuit Racing Championships. The 888 Home Loans Victorian State Circuit Racing Championships for the Victorian State Race Series. 888 Home Loans, great to have them on board if you're looking for the best rate for your mortgage. You're looking for a new home, investment property, remortgaging, give 888 Home Loans the opportunity and then give them your business. Have a look at this. None other than pole position, Danny Bazadzik, the Western General Bodyworks Holden Tirana, done in that awesome Bryce livery of the, I think we're allowed to say it, cigarette company, Craven Mild of the year. And Danny Bazadzik has done a massive job in preparing the car. It is beautiful. He started off pole 2 years ago at TCM at Sydney Motorsport Park, and he's found his way into the Vic V8s here this weekend. Looking forward to seeing how the Tirana goes. Right alongside is Greg Lynch, sometimes commentator, sometimes race winner in sports sedans, sometimes race winner in Vic V8s. The dentist from the north of Melbourne, doing a tremendous job on the front row of the grid. Right behind him is Brian Finn to David Hender. Now, David Hender is normally in the Falcon XY GT, and he still is this weekend, and that car is massive in this series. Mark Huex is next on the line to Craig Eddy out of 6th place. Then it is Matthew Horn to Gary Vella. Back to Mark Kukuri, Vic Argento, then Brett Lehman, Adam Cadeo, Arthur Van Orso, Peter Owen, Gary Finnemore in the Mentone Premix entry. Great to see Gary out there. He'll be starting out at 17th. Mark Pesavento to Anthony Monday and David Ramsey. rounds out our grid here for the Vic V8s. Fantastic category, sort of birthed out of the demise of the Commodore Cup, and there was a whole field of cars that were looking to go racing, and we can see the Commodore Cup cars sort of smattered through the field. They're quite obvious, like this one coming down now into Dandenong Road with a Commodore Cup type of history behind it, but some others there. I love this VL Walkinshaw that comes down as Danny Bazadzik has come into the pit lane and has turned the engine off as he rolled down. And Greg Lynch will have the front row all to himself. So that is very, very interesting indeed. Danny Bazadzik will not take the starters' orders. Just talking about Adam Cadeo in that VL Group A SS, and gives you an idea. Car looks like it's a road-going car. It's still got that Walkinshaw colour to it. We look at the front row now. This is not a supercar. This is a purpose-built car that was built initially for the HTT and HSV Owners Club Sprint Series, developed over numerous years now. And now Greg Lynch has developed this car with the guys at Ravage, Dean Lilly, who's actually racing this weekend himself. Not here, but at Phillip Island this weekend. And Greg Lynch in the number 22, a tribute livery to clearly the Holden Racing team.
Missing another car on the grid alongside Ratcliffe. Matt Horn is also not taking the start. He was meant to start from position number 9. So we're missing a couple, but still a huge field of Vic V8s. Revs have risen. We are about to begin this one. Lights on. And they are out. All Lynch bogged down immensely, and then a lot of wheel spin. It was a very poor start from the inherited pole sitter, but he has been absolutely mugged down towards turn number 1. He's 4th, maybe even 5th by the time they get down towards turn number 1.
He's had a spanking off the line there. He had the on the rev limiter about 10 seconds before we went red there. So I wonder if he's missed the opportunity off the line there just by holding it at such high revs. May have fouled the plugs or something like that. There's the yellow flag being waved at 2. It's yellow all the way around to where we can see that green flag due to the fence issue that we have down there. So no passing. I tell you what, close your eyes just a little bit, a little squint, and we could be racing in the late 90s, early 2000s there with the Kmart car and the HRT livery there. The Vic V8 scream out of turn 4. They go up over the causeway there. There's Gary Finnemore in the Mentone premix car, the ex-Eddie Almanica TCM car, and he drives that massively. Hender now in the 53. Looks unusual amongst all of these cars that have got more of an aero shape about them. The XY GT was certainly the fastest four-door car we've seen in the world, and we see it in those Shannon's ads all the time. But this guy has got a lot of horsepower under his right boot.
Certainly does, and he's putting it down to the floor as he exits the final corner. He comes out and he will have a big look at Hoeks down towards turn number 1. He said about the Kmart livery, there's quite a few liveries and the tribute liveries in this field. As here comes Lynch, headlights ablaze up the inside and makes that look nice and easy. So the recovery drive is on. The number 22 is up to position number 3. Next on his list is the number 53 of Hender in position number 2.
68 of Mark Huex there down into turn number 2. Locked up the right front. You don't want to do that too often there. The yellows are still being waved. So you do have to exercise caution in that area of the track. I'm not really sure what that means. Drive within yourself, I guess. And that is definitely what needs to be done there. This race, of course, being supported by the guys at Mentone Premix.
Bazadzik's back on the track. There he is. He's overtaking another TCM car, so 2 ex-TCM cars side by side down the back straight. So Bazadzik is flying through. So maybe he felt something not right with the clutch or something and felt it wasn't safe to start on the grid. But that's great news that Bazadzik is back out on the track.
He's obviously been released from pit exit. Normally, if you're not taking a spot on the grid, you haven't taken starters orders, but he's made his way out on track. He can't just drive out of pit exit, so he is definitely in the race here. Goes through on Mark Cadeo. The 44 is next in his sights. That's Arthur Van Orso going through there as well. So the number 3, Tirana, looks awesome, doesn't it? It
does.
Really is a fantastic livery to choose. simple, but gee, it makes the heart beat, doesn't it?
Lynch up to second, 2 laps in a row, a move at turn number 1. Now he's got to find his fellow HRT liveried machine down the road. That is Finn, who's pulled out a 1.5 second margin. And as it confirms down the bottom of the screen, just got yellows. You'll see it turns 2, 3 and 4. That's for the barrier damage after that significant Formula V accident just a couple of races ago. So that'll remain like that for the rest of the day. But the rest of the track you can pass around, and there are plenty of overtaking opportunities around this track, as Bezadzic is proving as he blasts past the camera on the back straight down towards turn number 6. He's already made that stick, and he might go around the outside of Kokori into the turn number 7, the very fast left-hander, before they head down the hill through the S's and into Dandenong Road corner. Is he going to pick another one up? No, has a look. Thinks better of it. Didn't quite have enough of the car up the inside that time by. Finn crosses the line, fastest lap of the race, a 1:17 flat. Despite making the move on Hender, Lynch only lost 0.8 that lap. The margin, 2.5 seconds. Can he catch up to the number 82 by the end of the race?
Massive drive here by Danny Bezadzic all the way through the field. He's got Vella. Now the next one to get through. He's gone through on Kokuri. He's gone through on Vella. The next one will be the 34 of Eddie. And it is a very similar looking vehicle and gets well down through the straight there. That is a massive drive. In 3 laps, he's halfway up through the field. Massive brake lock up there at turn number 1.
That's Bezadzic, who was rejoining off the road, went wide on the tarmac runoff and rejoined safely, so no positions lost for him there. As we look a little bit further down the order, that's the fight for position number. I think it's about 8th position on the road. Bezadzic continues to march on. Up the hill he goes. He's already got Vella on this lap. Next in his sights, I believe, is Argento in the number 10 car. Can't see where Eddie's gone. I don't know if Eddie might have dropped off the track at turn 1 as well.
This is a great battle pack here. This is Vella, Kokuri, Wheatley and Lehman. Van also on the back of it, and Cadeo's right out the back of that shot here. So we're talking 10, 11, 12, 13 on the road here. And this is an immense challenge here. The bright yellow lights there of Mark Kokuri on board. Now got the 76 of Wheatley ranging up right alongside. They go too wide up the straight here, giving each other plenty of racing room here. They get down into the funnel, which is turn 1, and tip it in. No one changes the order.
How cool is this battle? We've got Holden Commodores from the 90s, the 80s and the noughties. There's all different eras of Holdens, all different eras of Fords. It really is a real Australian heritage. There's a couple of Mustangs sometimes thrown in there as well, but strictly speaking, or generally speaking, it's a flourish of Australian-built cars from all down the years with big V8 engines. What more can you want at big, bad Sandown?
It says it in the name, Vic V8s. That's what they do. They do it very, very well. The 10 of Argento now holding the corner there, making sure that Danny Bezadzic doesn't have any strict advantage. Car number 3 ranging all over the back here. This is the drive of his life. Danny Bezadzic came from pit lane. He is now up to the back of Argento. He is 6th on the road here. This could be the best day of Danny Bezadzic's life so far. He is absolutely wringing the neck of Western General Bodyworks. Tirana goes up the inside now of Vic Argento. David Radcliffe will be the next one he has a go at. Does he get 2 for 1 here? He does. The Tirana is absolutely flying. Danny is in the zone. Some could say that he's always in the zone.
Incredible pace. Let's have a look.
A high energy individual is Danny Bezadzic, and he is delivering a high energy drive here today. As we look back through the field here, it is the big Falcon.
That's Owen.
35.
Yeah, Owen having a look up the inside of the Mentone Premix sponsored machine. The number 48 car of Finemore, formerly driven in Touring Car Masters by Eddie Albonica, and had good success in that machine. not driven by Abelnica no more, and Finemore coming under immense pressure from Owen behind as they hit the back straight. Last time through, only 2 cars were faster than Bazadzik, and they are the 2 up the front, Finn and Lynch. But let's take into account Bazadzik overtook about 4 people on that lap alone. He's weaving through traffic and matching those 2 at the front of the field. What could he have done had he started from pole position where he qualified earlier on this morning? We'll never know, unfortunately, but he is now up to 5th. Fastest lap of the race. There we go. That was a lap in clear air for him. 1:15.8, over a second faster than the race leader. That's phenomenal.
Some amazing horsepower he's got in front of him there in the Toronto. It's good to see Owen and also Mark Pesavento battling it out here. Look at this. Don't go through there, Danny. That's under yellows, mate. Keep yourself tidy. Right onto the back of Mark Huix now. Will he be able to get up onto the back of David Hender? I don't think so. There's only about 20 seconds left in this journey. So we'll come around now for the last lap. Lap board goes through, drives round on Huix and charges up to Dandenong Road. Dips it into the left-hander. Poised nicely, one nice movement. We can see his gloves there. He's got the white gloves on so we can see what he's doing. Nice movement there. Bit of a dip in, then a double look at it, and then drives the Tirana off the corner. The 68 there of Huix. It's the same thing. In the background, we're just watching Argento and Eddie. They're battling it out now.
Ratcliffe's in the middle of Eddie. Eddie's in the red machine. Here comes Ratcliffe up the inside. Oh, he's locked up, and they've made contact down there at the final sequence of corners. That was not what we wanted to see at all, and Eddie might get them both here as he comes onto the straight. He'll pick up the pieces there. That was an awkward bit of run-in down at the final sequence of corners. He was far enough up there, but didn't get it stopped and made contact with Argento, and Eddie gets them both. So Eddie moves up into position number 6 there. That's sometimes how you make places. So here's the replay from miles back. Ratcliffe sends it up the inside. He's far enough up the inside. He missed the apex and hit the Ford Falcon of Argento. It's all happening in this race.
In front of Eddie there as well. Here comes our race leaders. This is a ripping drive here by Brian Finn. Started out of P3. Greg Lynch really did mess up the start. He's worked his way back into P2, so he will start on the front row for tomorrow's race. The checkered flag goes to Brian Finn. A massive victory out over 5 seconds to Greg Lynch, who gathered it all up skillfully. And it's a 5.6 second race win to Finn. And then the big Ford of Hender gets across the line there. David Hender just beats home Danny Bazadzik, who started from pit lane. Drove like the demon all the way through the field, and some might say Danny the Demon Bazadzik. But Huix is the next one that gets to the line. Then we look to Eddie, who got that spot just on the last lap into 6. Radcliffe into 7. And a fantastic display of the Vic V8, supported by Mentone Premix. And I love their logo. Get exposed with Mentone Premix. What a great way to do it. And I believe they're the leaders in exposed aggregate concrete, polished and sealed. And your driveway looks $1 million. Get down and speak to the crew at Mentone Premix. So the whole field has gone through there, and surprisingly so there, Dan. The whole field through home in 27 seconds.
It's just this one to go.
It'll be out over 27 seconds.
Yeah, absolutely. But great field of cars. They always deliver to the Vic V8s. There's entertainment throughout the field, and that race was absolutely no exception to the rule. Out the final corner comes Monday. Great to see this classic Commodore out there on the race circuit. And there he is, the 18th finisher. So the other two didn't make the start. So 18 out of 18, as you say, Darren. A great thing to see in Vic V8s. But there are the results. Brian Finn taking the win in the end by 5.6 seconds. Lynch made his way up to second, but was no match for the number 82. Dave Hender came home in a lonely third ahead of Bazadzik, who was obviously the drive of the race. Huix came home in 5th. Nice job there from him. Eddie moved up to 6th late on ahead of Radcliffe and Argento. Gary Vella in position number 9, edging out Kokori. Beyond that, Wheatley, Lehman, Cadeo. Van also finished in 14th, just half a second behind Cadeo. Beyond that was Owen, Finemore, Pesavento and Monday. The two non-starters, Matt Horn and David Ramsey. Hopefully we'll see those two back in action tomorrow for races 2 and 3.
Don't go anywhere, we've still got plenty of racing to go. Formula Ford up next, the Porsche 944 Challenge. We'll see what Jack Atley brings us from the paddock with those guys. Improved production and E30s join forces for their race start at 4:20. And for those trackside, the Toyota 86s will pull the curtain closed for Saturday. Stay with us all weekend. Tomorrow we'll be live back here at the track at 9 a.m. I'm going to take a quick break because we've got Formula Fords coming up next with, we welcome back Matt Dunlop and of course Paul Ziddy. Absolutely experienced racing car driver will give us all of his views. Back in a moment.
The ASSA and the Victorian State Race Series would like to acknowledge the amazing contribution from these companies, who through their sponsorship of this round have enabled us to provide live coverage of this weekend's racing on Blendline TV. Without their support, this would not have been possible. Please support our sponsors and watch a great weekend's racing on Blendline TV. Did you know Pack Performance have been servicing the rotary and high performance industry for over 34 years? So for all your rotary and high performance needs, give them a call on 02 9792 7076.
Race Fuels is open for business. Their motto is racing fuel has never been easier. Race Fuels are operating on site here at Sandown this weekend. Fuels are available from the Bowser as well as a full range of drum sizes. Race Fuels have stock for distribution Australia-wide. Racing fuel has never been easier at race tracks with both Race Fuels E85 and Elf Race 102 via Bowsers at Sydney Motorsport Park, Queensland Raceway, The Bend and Malabar. Race Fuels is the leading supplier to motorsport from Vic State to historics to supercars. Race Fuels is the only supplier offering trackside Bowsers and drums.
Raceline Motorsport Racewear are the Victorian distributor for OMP products. They retail an extensive range of only the best brands including Alpine Stars, Sparco, Bell and Stylo helmets and visors. As well as this, they sell Longacre, Hands and Stand FHR devices and so much more.
Advanced Car Carriers has been operating since 1981 and is a major player in Australia's automotive transport industry. They have the knowledge and experience to know what works best for you. They offer a full-service automotive transport company with over 35 years hands-on experience. Their company provides unparalleled service with responsive action and the reliability to ensure the best results are achieved for you and or your organisation. Advanced Car Carriers operates in New South Wales, Victoria and Queensland with the assistance of some carefully selected partners to manage your logistic requirements.
At Soda Blast, we take pride in removing paint and rust from your vehicle and sealed up into epoxy, ready for your restoration ahead. We love what we do because our passion is cars.
YTG, also known as Young Timers Garage, have a wide range of exotic and one-off specialty cars. Be sure to check them out when looking for that special vehicle.
Mentone Premix Concrete, a fourth generation family owned business that is Melbourne's leading supplier of decorative concrete. With a state-of-the-art showroom displaying a variety of finishes and specially trained staff to assist you, the team at Mentone Premix will make the decision process a breeze. Specialising in all aspects of decorative concrete, remember to get exposed with Mentone Premix. With over 45 years of experience, Richard and his team of mechanics at Ringwood Automatics are delighted to assist drivers in Ringwood and throughout Melbourne's east with their automotive needs. They don't just do logbook servicing, but also RWCs, brakes, steering, clutch and radiators. Give them a call on 03 9879 1009. Black Mamba Racing aren't just a race car exhaust specialist or muffler supply to supercars. They're also fabrication specialists and provide race car preparation and track support. In other words, they can transform your car.
Kev the Towie is a local till tray operator who picks up scrap cars and metal to transport anything you need. His motto, just get it done. Follow him on Facebook or Instagram.
Ready to zoom into your next adventure? Visit Mornington Mazda, your locally owned Mazda dealer since 1993. From the sleek Mazda 3 to the refined CX-5, the empowered CX-60 hybrid, and the dependable BT50, there's something for everyone. Mornington Mazda, where your zoom journey begins.
Make mine a Mornington Mazda. LMCT 4180.
The news is out. MPC Auto Speed is now the Australian dealer and installer for app sportsline products and vehicles.
Welcome back to Blendline TV and our coverage of the 888 Home Loans Victorian State Circuit Racing Championships. Round 4 here at Sandown, and we have Formula Ford action coming up very, very soon. Race 1 of round 4 of the State Championship and round 6 of the Australian Championship. 2 for the price of 1. In fact, 3 for the price of 1, because we've got a State Kent Class Championship here on the go as well. There's a lot of action happening here at Sandown, and it's not too far away.
I believe and that was the camera at turn 4.
That certainly was the camera. It certainly isn't
taken
anymore.
out by, yeah. You want to get as close to that wall as you can. That perhaps is a little bit closer than it should be.
So we've just had a little bit of a delay from the end of the last race to the current one. As you can see, there's still a little bit of cleanup to go from some oil that was left down the back straight up into Dandenong Road. So just needs a little bit more of a sign-off from the officials. We want to give a shout-out to our officials here, as we always love to do. They're all volunteers, and without them, we could not go racing here as part of what we do in the Victorian State Racing Championship. So to all the officials, the flaggies, the cleanup crews, everyone else who has anything to do with putting these races on, we cannot thank you enough, all the medics as well. If you want to join, become a Motorsport official. There's a link on the bottom of the screen. motorsport.org.au/officials. We could not get enough of them, and it's so good to have them around the track here. Paul Ziddy joins alongside me in the box. My name is Matt Dunlop, and Paul, it is a pleasure to have you alongside me once again.
Mate, always a pleasure to be here commentating with you. Matt Yokohama, as we know you for Formula Ford Racing. Big shout out to Yokohama, the quality tyre supplier and proud sponsor of Formula Ford Racing here in Australia on that wonderful AO48R R-Spec road tyre, but we use that as our racing tyre here. What a glorious day here at Sandown. Sun's shining. I'd rather be out there racing, but if I'm not going to be there, commentating's the next best thing.
It certainly is. As Murray Walker had always said, those who can do, but those who can't talk about it. And that's exactly what we're going to do for race 1 here about to come up. We're just waiting for the cars to peel out. In the meantime, let's run through the starting grid. Qualifying was a very frenetic affair this morning. Shortened 14-minute session with a red flag delay in the middle, which meant it was a bit of a mad rush to get lap times in and take advantage of the tow. And the driver who took the most advantage of that was Harrison Sellers, his first pole position of the Australian Championship so far this season. That number 13 will be on pole position next to the current points leader in both the Victorian and National Duratec class, Eddie Beswick. Behind those two, Liam Lacono and Joey Fawcett round out the second row of the grid. Kobe Williams, currently second in the National Championship, will start the 94 from 5th position on the grid next to Lachlan Evanet in the number 88 for BF Racing. Number 69, Cody Mains-Ruddy, will start from 7th position alongside Daniel Frugas, but doesn't matter where Cody Mains-Ruddy starts, he's always going to be putting on an incredible show. He's very quick no matter where you plonk him on the grid, as pretty much all the drivers at the pointy end of this field are.
Absolutely, and as we move back through to round out your top 10, we've got Jack Bussey currently sitting 3rd in the championship points by virtue of his round win last weekend down in Tasmania in the National Championship. Alongside him, Lachlan Strickland, Imogen Radburn and Jamie Rowe filling out the top 6 rows.
Bailey Collins and Fraser High will take over the row behind them, with Logan Everly, who had a little bit of a bingle in pre-practice, first practice on Friday, got everything straightened out and is all set to go, alongside Kyle Cotter, who joins us for the first time in the number 117. Behind them, Ethan Fitzgerald, who had a bit of a run-off in qualifying today. Got a bit of grass on it, no damage, so he's out on track. Next to Seth Burkhart's ex-E30 racing driver, now racing under the Tickford label on Formula Ford, and you can see the amount of sand that's being kicked up there through turns 2, 3 and 4 for oil that went down there. For these drivers, that is a permanent yellow flag zone for the rest of today, so there's not going to be any passing opportunities there, so the main priority in that section of the track is just keeping your nose clean. Jared Hurst and Carly Fleming with Giuseppe Imbrogno round out the Duratec class on the grid today.
Brings us to the Formula Ford 1600s, the Kent engine cars. Richard Davison, another dominant pole position for him, lining up alongside Andrew Torty. Second row for these cars is Malcolm Coleman in the number 52 Swift, beautifully prepared and presented car, alongside Mark Zellner in the number 36. And Frank Harris and Jacob Reed round out your 6 Formula Ford 1600s.
We spent a lot of time, myself and Paul, talking to each other before this race started, just about all the virtues of these cars and just how much of an incredible machine they are for just learning all the ins and outs of getting around like that mechanical aspect of just handling a race car around a track. But they're also aerodynamically wise, they are very susceptible to a slipstream, and here at Sandown is one of the most slipstream heavy tracks in Australia. It is crucial to line up your tow at the right time.
Yeah, 100%. And look, that yellow flag and all that dust down at turn 4 is going to be a real challenge for the guys, because that run, our top speed in a Formula Ford here at Sandown is actually the back straight. It's that little bit longer. So that run on to that uphill straight, and it's a headwind today up there. So the tow is going to be even more important. So the driver that can best manage getting the run onto the back straight is going to be really well placed, and that's something that they'll have to experiment with technique. It's a changed condition from what they've seen thus far this weekend, and it'll be who can adapt to that the fastest.
If you happen to be watching last weekend, these drivers were out in force at Symmons Plains on the other side of Bass Strait, putting on some incredible racing side by side pretty much the whole race at Symmons Plains, but we're here at Sandown now, and the rest, and I think just about all the Duratec grid are lined up. We're just
the green flag at the back.
Cars to take to the grid. Not far away now.
The revs are building for race 1. The tension's been building all weekend. They've been getting lots of practice in. They want to get their elbows dirty and start racing, and it was not too far away now. Red light is on, revs are building.
And
we're underway at Sandown, and there's a little bit of wheel spin from Beswick off the start, which means the number 13 of Sellers is going to get the jump down off the start line. It's a great start from everyone else, no stallers, so it's a very, very clean getaway for the entire field. As we can see, the Kent class cars at the back there, and there's a bit of a challenge here for the lead again. Sellers just holds on around the outside, but Beswick is looking strong again. Look at all the dust that's down there. You almost wonder if it's going to start causing some visibility issues. You would hope not too much. There's a little bit of smoke going up from some lockups here and there. Everyone is keeping nice and tidy as there can't be any passing through those corners there, but now that we're through turn 4, heading up to the back straight through this kink at turn 5, they're going to be side by side once again.
It'll be interesting to see whether or not that dust, the dust actually, it's visually, it's quite off-putting, but it does a fantastic job in soaking up that oil. So the traction should still be there. Look at this, 4 wide, that toe coming into play as we spoke about. Now who will have the run down into the old Dandy Route corner? And it looks like a challenge for the lead in the Kent class as well.
As we see the entire field fan through the top of the hill, it's Kobe Williams who's taken the lead of the Duratec class at the front here, with Harrison Sellers not too far behind him, but he's busy holding off Eddie Beswick in 3rd position. So very, very close, very dicey so far in this 20-minute first affair, race 1 here at Sandown, but it is going to be Kobe Williams.
And that's a really good lead, and there you go, ladies and gents, and others watching at home. You've got that toe, Kobe, who was about 4th or 5th as they came onto the back straight. It's like being hit with nitrous when you get that toe up there. It can make a massive change. So let's see how the field files through. Kobe with the fastest standing lap on that lap to take a lead. And he's got almost a 3/4 of a second gap in that first lap. Followed by Sellers, Beswick, Loicono, Evnet, Fawcett dropping back a few spots. Mains Ruddy holding position. It'll be on for young and old as they come back onto the back straight again. Kobe's got, looks like quite a handy lead, but again, he's got everyone following him. It's going to be sucking back up onto the back of his car. 2 wide over the top. That is, I mean, that's a 200 km/h corner with these things dancing around. These guys have just got bravery, skill to match it. The guys racing these cars, making them dance on the knife's edge. It's just superb to watch.
Speaking of dancing around, Eddie Beswick using all of the tarmac and most of the curb to get that pass done up into 2nd position. He's moved past the pole sitter, Harris and Sellers, and now Beswick, the championship leader in both Victoria and Australia, is up into 2nd place to just remove that points deficit. A little bit slippery through the final turn there. You see a couple of cars just getting a little bit sideways. Ethan Fitzgerald, I think that was, who stepped the back end out a little bit, but he's kept it nice and neat and tidy. Now we're seeing the number 88 of Lachlan Evans trying to have a look at Liam Locono. Beswick has posted the fastest lap of the race so far with that run that he's had down the back straight and then onto the line. It's a 1:19.2004, so a lot of pace here, but there's still a long way to go in this race. And Kobe Williams is going to be looking in his rearview mirrors, maybe getting the sweats on just a little bit, but if he can hold his margin at the front, he'll be looking okay. But if all the drivers behind him keep trying to exchange places, battling the whole time, they may just slow each other down. So it may be beneficial for them to just stay line astern, as you're seeing here, just get that slipstream off each other and push as a train up to the back of Williams in 1st position and make this a real ding-dong battle for the win.
Absolutely. If you're there and you're in 2nd at the moment, you'll be hoping that the guys behind you will work with you to catch 1st. If you're Kobe, you're going to be head down, eyes forward, hoping like hell they're just going to race each other for 2nd, hold each other up and let you just creep away at the front and build that gap. So for him, he's not going to be looking in the mirrors and thinking too much just at the moment. He's going to be eyes down, trying to drive qualifying lap after qualifying lap.
We've got battles all the way up and down the field as well, as we see the battle for, I believe that is 7th position crossing the line behind them there. But you can see just how many battle packs are out at the moment. As Cody Mains Ruddy has been the fastest lap, and that's what I was talking about. He's going for a pass up the inside of Fawcett, the reigning Victorian champion, who holds it around the outside. Great use of the curb there on the exit of 1.
Yeah, and you can be reasonably aggressive with the curbs in these Formula Fords, but it's a case of you either have to be really aggressive and commit to it or stay off them completely. If you just get up on them, all that does is bounce the car around and upset it. So you'll see these guys, particularly the curbs over the top, down into Dandy Road, and the complex bringing them back onto the start-finish straight. You'll see the guys get all over the curbs there.
Sellers going back up the inside. What a great move there from Harrison Sellers, the number 13, the pole sitter. And look how close they are to the back of Kobe Williams now. That's exactly what we're talking about. Just that benefit from having the slipstream down the back straight has moved them up. As we look at Jack Bussey making his way past the sand trap on Dandenong Road. I think we just saw someone having a little bit of an off there. Hopefully they don't get too rude. It's the number 3 of Jared Hurst. I think it's his first time in the car this season. You think he's able to power it out of there, and he's back on track. So no yellow flag down there.
Nice
All
job.
racing as per usual.
Yeah, no, good to see him make that back out. Good for him. Also good for the race that we don't see a safety car while they extricate him from the gravel trap there. So everything working as planned.
Look at that gap at the front, only just over half a second as Lacono and Evan go side by side through one once again, and the move is done this time. So the number 88 moves up into 4th position, but it still has a little bit of work to do to catch up to this podium battle. But depending on how large he can put his head down, like you said, and just catch up, he may be able to be in the mix very, very soon. Only 7.5 minutes left, and we see a replay of Hurst just going off. Yeah, big bump there. As we talk about, feeling the bumps on the track surface, let alone in the sandpit, there's barely any suspension travel in these cars. They are rock solid because you want to get as much feedback as possible. Look at Sellers going around the outside for the lead. Fantastic move. P1 starter is now running back in P1 once again. And look at Eddie Beswick. He's all over him like a cheap suit, trying to get the move done as well and take advantage. We've got a 5-car battle for the lead.
And it's brought the other two straight back into it. There you go. It's that, again, we talk about it all the time, but it's that headwind, uphill, slipstream. It just, you cannot get away here. It's a 220 kilometre an hour game of chess.
It certainly is. It was so good seeing all these drivers and a lot of the ones throughout the field just side by side all weekend at Tasmania 7 days ago. Fastest lap goes to Evanet with a 1:16.58, and that was from 4th position. So the pace is red hot all the way up through this lead battle. It's currently Sellers from Williams, Beswick, Evanet, and Lacono in 5th position in this lead group.
And you'd have to say the drivers are doing a fantastic job managing the permanent yellows out there down at 3 and 4. There was obviously a little bit of concern that people charge in there, see it last minute, prop, would cause some issues, but they're just dealing with it with maturity way beyond their tender age. I mean, the guys out there racing 16. If you're 24 in this category, you're a veteran.
Exactly.
They're showing so much composure and so much respect for each other.
You have to be composed to go side by side through that part of Sandown. What fantastic racing that was from Eddie Beswick, who's now moved up the inside of Kobe Williams, and he's moved into 2nd position, back where he started this race as well. Kobe Williams does not want to let these drivers go. Maybe he's just biding his time to try and find out the best time to make a run, because if you time the toe wrong and then you've got the last lap, you've got one more back straight to go, you may lose your spot again, as we just see a replay of one of the Kent class cars very nearly grazed the wall. I think he just missed it.
Glad he cut off there. I think that may have been Malcolm Coleman, so I'm glad he kept that off the wall. As I said earlier, that Swift, he's done a beautiful job restoring that car, and it is immaculately presented. So very pleased that it stayed off the fence for him.
Yeah, he'll be pretty stoked that he's kept that one out on the wall. Very, very cool. Main's running again with the fastest lap from 6th position, so he's got a bit of a gap in front of him to catch the lead pack, but a 1:16.52 will help him immensely in catching up to the rest of that battle. This is a little bit further down. We're just seeing the battle here. I believe this is the lead battle. Beswick is looking around the outside. He's got Kobe Williams right behind him. Where are they going to land as they come through the top of the hill here? Sellers is going to retain the lead. Beswick has to take to the inside of the curb. He's just slots back into line there. He's not going to try anything. And look at Cody Manzarati. He's already over the back. How many cars do we have in this lead battle now? There's going to be about 6 or 7, as I think that's the number 11 of Fraser High going side by side with Lachlan Strickland, who retains the position.
Yeah, an incredible battle at the front now. With you're right about that. I think it's at least 7 cars in that train now, which is exactly what we come to watch Formula Ford racing for, what it's famous for, and why, again, I declare my bias, but it is still the best learning pathway category to cut your teeth. A very analog car to drive, so much adjustability, adjustable dampers, adjustable brake bias, adjustable sway bars. They're sensitive to rake and to ride height changes. No ABS. It's a dog box. Sedans, a manual dog box, you have to heel and tow, all the stuff you need for supercars and for so many other types of racing around the world. So it's still the best place in the world to cut your teeth and learn all of those skills.
Just for an example of what you were talking about earlier with that turn 1 curve either helping you or harming you there, Beswick trying to get around the outside of Sellers for the lead, couldn't make it work and in fact lost a place to Kobe Williams. He looks to try and gain it back, but Williams is going to hold on to second here as they crest the top of the hill once again. Look at them dancing all over the place, just trying to find room, just trying to get a look in as we see, I think that is Porsche trying to have a look up the inside of Main's Runny. So this battle goes all the way down to 7th position for the lead, but you can see
now
just a very short distance behind. I think it's just about a 10-car train at this point. This is fantastic stuff in Formula Ford.
Yeah, 8th and 9th right back in there. And you know, you talk to supercars for a lot of these drivers here in Australia is the ambition, and when you compare them here at Sandown, the Formula Fords actually have the same to a slightly higher minimum corner speed at this circuit. So the obviously lose out in a straight line to the 600 plus horsepower supercars, but in terms of the braking and the cornering, they're right there with them. So a fantastic place to be learning the skills.
Not a whole lot of power coming out of these motors, but it doesn't matter too much because they only weigh just over half a ton, and that proves immense, which is why they're able to carry so much speed through the course for such a small package for a race car, and it's part of what makes these cars such a good learning and development tool for young drivers.
Yep, and we mentioned the Yokohama AO48R, a sensational road tyre. It also has proven to be a fantastic tyre for these cars to race on. It's durable, it doesn't have a lot of degradation through the life of the tyre, so you're not having to throw new tyres at the car all the time. But again, it's still, as we see, all the braking, all the cornering areas, you're right on the limit of adhesion, and trying to manage that and not overcook it is really what brings it into play. And here we can see Jack Bussey's now buying into this 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 car, it keeps growing, battle for the lead here.
And he's the fastest driver around the track right now. We'll see if that margin gets, or see if that fastest lap gets knocked off its pegs when they cross the stripe this time by, but it is Bussey currently has the fastest lap of the race last time around.
I think
with
having
a
a look at
1:16.19 as we see a lot of battling up at the front here. Williams looking side by side, gets the move done on Beswick. Locono is right behind them in 4th. It is still Sellers who leads this race. He's doing a fantastic job of maintaining that pole position for now, but there's still a long way to go. Geez, what a sight that is.
Yeah, look, there is just nothing. There is not a there's not a half a car. There's not a nose cone between each of the cars in that line, and fanning out as they get to the top, trying to pick where they're going to be able to make a move. And once again, Beswick going around the outside of Kobe Williams again over the top. The 4th and 5th seem to be just holding station, swapping with each other. Loicono and Evanet not quite able to buy into the top 3 battle, but absolutely able to hang in by virtue of that draft.
Note the very crafty use of lap traffic at the back there. They're very, very good at managing passing in the right spots, and at the top of the hill is such a difficult place to do it. On the run up, we saw Sellers there just trying to jump in front of that lap traffic as fast as he possibly could just to break the toe, and everyone else behind him had the exact same idea. So the net result is they're all pretty much equidistant as they were on the run up to that back straight than they were once they got through Dandenong Road. So it's super, super close racing. You could practically throw a blanket over this lot at the front here. And this is getting towards the very closing stages of this race. The time has just ticked 0, and they're just heading up the back of the track now. Once again, it is Sellers who still leads it. Beswick right behind with Williams in 3rd position, and Locono has made it a 4-car train at the front. They've broken away from the rest of that pack, and it's going to be any one of these for the win.
2 laps to go, we've just been told, and this has been sensational racing by the Formula Fords. Green flag from Go to Woe thus far. I hope I don't put the commentator's curse on it, but they're doing just such a good job. And Sellers and Beswick swapping positions twice in that lap.
Such a good counter there from Sellers at the front there. He saw the passes on around the outside. He just bided his time, got it done once again around Dandenong Road. But look at them. Oh, there's contact. Oh, they've all bunched up. They've concertinaed the 5 of them at the front. Oh, what a calamity that is. We're seeing that's the 74 of Jack Bussey, who's got a bent nose cone there. He must have had a massive run to get himself up to that position, but he is limping at the moment. That is such a shame. They're all still
Yep.
They're all still running at the moment, but I think that's Kobe Williams, the number 94.
Yep.
Oh, what a shame for Williams, who was doing so well, but it is race done with that. So look at the suspension listing on the front right of that car.
That is just cruel luck for Kobe, and of course for Jack. Nothing they could do. A little bit of a concertina effect when you're at that speed and that close to each other. There's, I'm not quite sure what happened in the front, but my gut feel is that there's nothing really. No one's done anything overly untoward. It's just a minor touch, and nowhere to go.
It's just one of those things. Especially when you've got a pack that's running this close for this long in a race, you almost have to bet on something like that happening. And it is very unfortunate for Williams, who's bowed out of this race as a result. Put off the inside of the turn 1 grass. Collins trying to have a look around the outside of Strickland there. I think he's got that move done, but look, meanwhile back at the front, Sellers is still holding the number 30 of Beswick behind them as they round the last couple of corners.
They've got the last lap. Here is the checkered flag.
And it's going to be Sellers who just takes it over Beswick. And I believe it is Cody Mains-Ruddy who has made his way up to 3rd position. What a fantastic run in the number 69. Lockie Evanet will cross the line in 4th, with Fawcett in 5th. There's still a lot of battling going up and down this track as we see some of the Kent class cars rounding the back now. That is the number 4 there of, I believe that is the number 4 is Jacob Reed there, and he's currently holding off we're just waiting for the timing to cycle through so I can see who we got there.
Yeah, it looks like I was about to say it would appear that we're always waiting for the timing to confirm this for us, but it appears that Richard Davison may have had a problem on that final lap. He was leading that race, but I think Andrew Torty may have come through for the win in the Formula Ford 1600.
And there he is. There's Richard Davison. He's lost a lot of time somewhere. I can't see any damage, and I can't see too much gunk on his tyres.
No.
So whether he's had an off a lot earlier in the lap.
Yep. It may well be that may have been the only 1600 car that did not get lapped, so by virtue of that he will have actually completed more laps than the others, and I think if I didn't miss something out there, I think he should be installed as the Formula Ford 1600 class winner.
Yep, we'll get confirmation of that as the results come up on screen. As the last of the cars circle around the back there, we can see a car that's pulled off to the right, to the side there, just after the kink. We're not sure who that is, but we'll have to confirm once the results come through. Apart from a little bit of incidental contacts here and there, a great, fantastic Formula Ford race to start this weekend.
Yeah, hopefully there's not too much damage to the cars out there. Again, desperately unlucky for Kobe Williams. Drove such a good race, was right there in the thick of it. And unfortunately, when you're right there in the thick of it and someone sneezes at the front, you can catch cold. And that's unfortunately what happened to him in that incident. He'll bounce back from there. All the work to do. He'll still stay in contention and battle for that championship if he can keep himself in the running.
So it was a great race from the number 13 of Harrison Sellers to convert that pole position to a race win here in race 1 at Sandown. Right behind him, Eddie Bezic, the current championship leader, maintaining 2nd position from where he started. And as the rest of the cars pull into the lane now, we will be right back after a quick break, and then the Porsche 944 Challenge. Don't go anywhere.
The ASSA and the Victorian State Race Series would like to acknowledge the amazing contribution from these companies, who through their sponsorship of this round enabled us to provide live coverage of this weekend's racing on Blendline TV. Without their support, this would not have been possible. Please support our sponsors and watch a great weekend's racing on Blendline TV. Did you know Pack Performance have been servicing the rotary and high performance industry for over 34 years? So for all your rotary and high performance needs, give them a call on 02 9792 7076.
Race Fuels is open for business. Their motto is racing fuel has never been easier. Race Fuels are operating on site here at Sandown this weekend. Fuels are available from the Bowser as well as a full range of drum sizes. Race Fuels have stock for distribution Australia-wide. Racing fuel has never been easier at racetracks with both Race Fuel's E85 and Elf Race 102 via Bowsers at Sydney Motorsport Park, Queensland Raceway, The Bend and Malaga. Race Fuels is the leading supplier to motorsport from big state to historics to supercars. Race Fuels is the only supplier offering trackside Bowsers and drums.
Raceline Motorsport Racewear are the Victorian distributor for OMP products. They retail an extensive range of only the best brands, including Alpine Stars, Sparco, Bell and Stylo helmets and visors. As well as this, they sell Longacre, Hands and Stand FHR devices and so much more.
Advanced Car Carriers has been operating since 1981 and is a major player in Australia's automotive transport industry. They have the knowledge and experience to know what works best for you. They offer a full-service automotive transport company with over 35 years hands-on experience. Their company provides unparalleled service with responsive action and the reliability to ensure the best results are achieved for you and or your organisation. Advanced Car Carriers operates in New South Wales, Victoria and Queensland with the assistance of some carefully selected partners to manage your logistic requirements.
At Soda Blast, we take pride in removing paint and rust from your vehicle and sealed up into epoxy, ready for your restoration ahead. We love what we do because our passion is cars.
YTG, also known as Young Timers Garage, have a wide range of exotic and one-off specialty cars. Be sure to check them out when looking for that special vehicle.
Mentone Premix Concrete, a fourth generation family owned business that is Melbourne's leading supplier of decorative concrete. With a state-of-the-art showroom displaying a variety of finishes and specially trained staff to assist you, the team at Mentone Premix will make the decision process a breeze. Specialising in all aspects of decorative concrete, remember to get exposed with Mentone Premix. With over 45 years of experience, Richard and his team of mechanics at Ringwood Automatics are delighted to assist drivers in Ringwood and throughout Melbourne's east with their automotive needs. They don't just do logbook servicing, but also RWCs, brakes, steering, clutch and radiators. Give them a call on 03 9879 1009. Black Mamba Racing aren't just a race car exhaust specialist or muffler supply to supercars. They're also fabrication specialists and provide race car preparation and track support. In other words, they can transform your car.
So good to be at the Horsepower, the home of Horsepower Sandown. We've got the 944s on track. I'm Darren Smith, and right beside me is a very excited Jack Atley. Jack, you've just come from the launch of a new car for the 944 season down in the paddock.
Good afternoon, Darren. Good afternoon, everyone, wherever you're watching on the Blendline coverage all around the world. It is fantastic to be back at the iconic Sandown Motor Raceway. I have, Daz, there's a couple of new cars in the category. Great to see the boys out in the bright sunshine. Right on screen there, if you look now, is the pit lane clothing car. They're driven by Andy Tudor, so fantastic to see that one out there. Mark Torbitts is also in a newly liveried car. So yeah, there's plenty of excitement, plenty of action. This category is close at the best of times, but it is definitely heating up in the championship right now. 3 points, Daz, between the top three drivers. So we're certainly looking forward to this one.
Let me have a quick look and run down through the grid. We'll come back to the pit lane clothing car. James Westaway to Cambella, Mark Vadino, Adam Brewer, Chris Lewis-Williams, Joey Callock in the 1-800 lasagna machine, Mark Torbitts, Tony Andrewski, Tony Westaway, Dickie Howe out of position number 10, Jared Campione, the 88, the round sponsor out of number 11, and Manny Manazolma out of 12, Nick Carpenter out of 13, Andy Tudor in that newly launched car number 15, Josh Brisbane to Peter Grant, Carter Fox and John Benoris, 18 of Germany's finest, the Porsches, the 944s on track. They've got the Porsche Australia window banners emblazoned across the front window of them, and we're about to get away. The all-important green flag waved at the back. The radios have lit up for the drivers. Set yourselves up. Our starter holding them there. What are we waiting for? There's the red light. Look but don't stare. Bella gets wheel spin. Westaway gets away nicely. Brewer goes with Vadino. Are they going to gazump Bella before they get to turn one? Bella gets it up through the gearbox here, but Westaway, a beautiful start, just drives across in front, no harm, no foul. Vadino to the inside. This is going to be the big move into turn number one. Where does Vadino go? Oh, he does capitulate to Brewer. Brewer uses the back of the ripple strip. He's got the inside running. There's no overtaking here. You can see the yellow flag. I got to say, Ads Brewer, you've just been very, very close to the law right there. But Bella in P2. Jamie Westaway, multi-championship winner. Behind him, another more multi-championship winning Cambella.
Absolutely, the boys really taking it easy through turn 3s and turn 4 there. That is under yellow flags as we see them head off on the lap. Now, Jamie Westaway there in the gold car, multiple champion in the category, just returning for this weekend, so he knows this track very, very well. Cambella there in the Aqua car, 4-time champion, and the number 3 of Adam Brewer in the AVI technology car, currently leading the championship, Daz, so he does not want to make any mistakes. Joey Callock there, hard to miss Joey in the bright 1-800 lasagna car.
It certainly is the newly relivered car there. He's gone for the bright colours. There's the car we were talking about with Andy Tudor, the new car to the field here, the pit lane clothing car, a swap position there. That is Venoris and Fox goes through. In fact, that's not Carter Fox at all. That's Brisbane going through.
Joshy Brisbane there in the bright green number 56. Johnny Venoris just trailing off there, had some issues in qualifying. So it's a shame to see Johnny Venoris not even quite getting around lap 1. But the beautiful green machine of Josh Brisbane coming through the final turn as they head down towards this long straight at Sandown. They really want to take advantage of the slipstream here. Beautiful, stunning conditions as we watch Mark Vadino there in the Sidelink car really trying to push ahead.
Bit of a timing glitch there at the moment, showing the 88 of Campione there in the lead of this race. That is actually not a fact, but he is the round sponsor, so let's give him the top billing for this point in time.
Why not? Exactly, yeah, Jared Campione, and we thank Campione Electrics for sponsoring this category this round. Great to have Jared and the Campione Electrics on board. In fact, that is Jared Campione in the pink and white striped car out in front. Now, we're not sure if he's actually had an absolute blinder of a start, or he's
started from the lane. So he's
started from the lane. So yeah, he's going to get caught up there. Ads Brewer really pushing hard already, going across that ripple strip at the fastest section of the track here, which is that turn 6 up the back at Sandown. You're touching on 200 kilometres an hour as you enter that section in these cars. So Ads really wants to maintain his championship lead. As I mentioned briefly at the start of the telecast there, just 3 points between the top 3 drivers in this championship. So Brewer does not want to make any mistakes because there's a car just directly behind him who is gunning for the championship.
Ads
Brewer,
whoa! Catch there by Ads Brewer. That is a big slide, isn't it? Enter stage right. Thank goodness he didn't exit stage left. Gathered it all back up as Jared Campione just gets out of the way of the leaders in this race. There's the number 3. We know those Yokohamas are nice and warm now as he's got the 44 of Mark Verdino ranging right up behind him. So, in fact, that kind of slide could induce some over-temping at the Yokohamas. There's our fastest lap, Ambella, of course. Why wouldn't it be? And we've got a plus 5 seconds for Manny Manzelma as a start line incident. Have a look at that. Lewis Williams on the Le Mans flashes coming up through the causeway up onto the kink there. So last year's champion saying, come on, boys, let's get on with this. The 44 goes to the outside. This is going to be brave. Will Brewer slide his way into the top of the hill as well? Side by side. They've done it before. They plunge into Dandenong Road, up over the ripple strips. That is finding track limits. And down the inside, Lewis Williams on Ads Brewer. Gathers it up. No harm, no foul yet. But going west there was Jared Campione.
They're all over the place. The boys are fighting hard. They really need the championship points. And you've got Chris Lewis Williams there, the 4-time champion and the current reigning champion, all over the back of Adam Brewer, who is leading the championship at the moment. Just ahead of them, Mark Verdino, who is a race winner in this category. Not holding them up, but he's certainly in the fight. And then out the front, you've got the multiple champions. Jamie Westaway pops up there with the fastest lap, a 1:25.7. So they're a little off world record pace, or lap record pace, I should say. But
world record.
World record pace is for Sandown.
Straight out of the Olympics into world records. Here we go,
exactly.
ladies and gentlemen.
And it's gold medal position at the moment for Jamie Westaway. But
Jamie Westaway's turned bronze into gold.
Well, he's got a gold car. Yeah, I mean,
bronze, whichever way you
whatever it is, yeah, exactly. So, and you've got the silver medalist in Cameron Bella sitting right behind him as well. Bella wants to win this race. Bella's sitting second in the championship, so he knows if he can bank a number of points here, get slightly ahead of Adam Brewer, he's back in the title hunt.
Richard Howe, or Dickie Howe to his mates, Tony Andreski to his mates, the boss of Porsche Australia. Yeah. One of the bosses of Porsche Australia. And they're racing pretty hard there. So that's the middle of the pack at the moment. Those two are fighting it out for 8th and 9th on the road. They've got Tony Westaway just ahead of them in the number 50 and battling away just off the back of that battle. That is
That's Manny Mezzaselma. Manny Mezzaselma there, yeah, back in the pack. Manny's come out of GT3 racing in the past, so he's certainly used to.
And Mark Torbitz has commandeered another different car this weekend.
He has. That is a brand new car, and we should mention that car there for El Presidente. Mark Torbitz is running a brand new liveried car this weekend. That is actually a throwback, retro, virtually identical copy of the Alan Moffat Le Mans car back in the 70s. So if you see a photograph of that Alan Moffat Le Mans Porsche, it's virtually an identical copy. So it's a fantastic effort by El Presidente and Mark Torbitz there to turn that car out so beautifully.
We're seeing a board being displayed to the field there. I wonder if that's just alerting Matty Minizelma of his plus 5 seconds off the start line. Under brakes, Mark Torbitz looks up the inside now, goes through on Matty Minizelma. Of course, Mark Torbitz won a race at Winton. Did a tremendous job there. Then we saw these guys travel over, and they were a support category to the Super Fail Asian series that Tail and Bent equipped themselves very, very well, the Porsche 944s. And we're back here now for this round. These are the two guys fighting very, very hard out in front. At the moment, you'd have to say, Jack, that Jamie Westaway is a bit of an interloper in this championship, isn't he?
A little bit coming and going at the moment in the championship, and he's just returning this weekend. He's missed a couple of rounds, Jamie, but the skill of a Jamie Westaway is on show here for sure. The guy comes back, having not sat in a race car for a couple of months, and throws it on pole position and actually is leading the race. So that is the skill of a Jamie Westaway, competing right up there with the multiple champion Cameron Bella, who is having a pretty good run. Cam actually hit the wall in qualifying here at turn 4, so they've rebuilt the front right-hand corner of that car between qualifying and race 1 today. Mark Verdino there in the side link, number 44, and Ads Brewer just sitting behind him, biding his time. As I mentioned, Ads Brewer is currently leading the championship, so he really wants to have a good, clean weekend, get through it, not have any major incidents or major mistakes, and bank the points, because with a couple of races to go, this championship is definitely heating up.
It really is, and there's Ads Brewer. He is, I guess, the bridesmaid at this point in time. Is just in waiting there to try and take one of these championships. He's certainly got the dancing on the pedals and the movement of the hands to be a champion. It's just a matter of getting through on this field. It is such a highly skilled field at the top end of town. The field comes streaming through here. You get a good look at the entire field coming through. Off the back of Carpenter comes Andy Tudor in the pit lane clothing entry. And that livery stands out very much. Jack, you were saying at the start, or introduction, you've been to the launch of that car in the paddock.
I have been to the launch of that car in the paddock there. Number 15 of Andy Tudor there in the pit lane clothing. Porsche 944. Looks fantastic on track. And if you want some off-track apparel, head to pitlaneclothing.com. Andy's just come off a fantastic weekend at Phillip Island. Last weekend where he was on the front row in an Audi R8. He's certainly used to high speed, and he's having a rich reign of form lately, Andy Tudor. So he's swapping between multiple cars, but running the Audi R8 there as well down at Phillip Island last weekend, straight into this round. So yeah, we wish Andy all the best as he returns to the category in the pit lane clothing 944.
Great row of supporters that support the 944s, as I mentioned earlier. Porsche Cars Australia are very much on board. They have the famous Porsche pyramid, of which your Porsche club got another 32 just going
Johnny
very
Vanoris.
slowly there. That's not good.
Johnny Vanoris just getting round, I would say, trying to get back towards the pits as the leaders sort of grab him there, heading towards this long back straight. Is this last lap, or have we got... Because I was just going to say, we've got a bit of damage there by the looks of it on that bonnet of Cam Balla as they head down the bottom here to Dandenong Road.
The bonnet patch might have just let go or something there, because it was opening up as they were coming through there. So, interestingly enough, time is up. We've got the last lap board coming out, so still got another lap and a quarter to go for these guys.
There will be a lap to go. It'll be interesting to see if Cam can catch Jamie Westaway. Aren't we very, very used to seeing these two go at it? They've been going at it for a couple of years. They know each other's game plans very, very well. They know their strengths and their weaknesses, and they trust each other on track. So to be at well over 200 kilometres an hour as you head down these long straights here at Sandown, inches apart, is fantastic to see. But very experienced drivers, both of these two guys at the front.
Chris Lewis-Williams just off the back shot there. It's interesting that he hasn't weighed in on this duo to make it a trio. In fact, we could have quintuplets here if we weigh Verdino and adds Brewer in with it. Joey Callock's off the back of that one as well, and the 1-800 lasagna machine. 1-800 lasagna.
Oh, very, very close there from Cambrello as he edges near the wall coming out of turn 4. They really want the drive all the way up this long back straight, and he knows he's got one last chance to have a crack at Jamie Westaway, who does not make many mistakes at all. So this will be pretty rare and tight if he can do it. He's sitting right on his bumper. He's going to have a crack here, I would presume. He's going to either try and dive down under brakes at the bottom here of Dandenong Road. But Jamie Westaway is just very, very solid in defence. The Minister for Defence is holding the position there at the moment, and he just is not going to let Cam Balla get through. So with a couple of corners to go, it's the multiple champion, Jamie Westaway, in the gold or bronze coloured car that is heading towards the final set of corners.
He's turning bronze into gold.
He is turning bronze into gold. He's come
straight out of Paris to Sandown between Springvale and Dandenong.
Absolutely.
Jamie Westaway brings home the win for the weekend on Saturday afternoon. 2 more tomorrow. This is the battle pack coming to the line now, and it was very close on the line there for Verdino, Brewer and Chris Lewis-Williams. And this is our midfield here, being led by Richard Howe, Tony Andrzejewski. The Jared Campione car there from Campione Electrics is really not in this. He's sort of a lap down at this point in time. Tony Andrzejewski in the 27 goes through, but it will be Richard Howe, Tony Andrzejewski and Mark Torbitz in the multicoloured livery there. He gets through in 10th. Carpenter to Manny Menazelma. Sadly, Jared Campione wasn't actually in contention for that battle, but he does finish the race a lap down. And we look back through the field. Carpenter to Manny Menazelma, the pit lane clothing entry of Andy Tudor, the number 15. He gets home in 13th to Josh Brisbane. Jared Campione classified 15th. John Vanoris had gone into the pit lane. There are your results for those watching on the live streaming. Great race there as always with the 944s, and certainly well worth watching back during the week.
Running through the results there, it's Jamie Westaway, the multiple champion, over Cam Balla, who takes second position. The Vendetta, Mark Verdino, comes home in third to complete the podium. Black Widow Spider home in fourth. the Baron of Benalla, Chris Lewis-Williams, grabbing 5th spot there. Joey opposite lock, Joey Kellogg, Tony Westaway, King Richard, a great run by King Richard to come home in 8th position. The Boss, Tony Andrzejewski, and El Presidente completes the top 10.
Thank you very much, Jack Atley. We've got the 944s on again twice tomorrow. They'll be on at a very sociable 12:15, so you can have a sleep in. You can even party all night tonight, Jack.
Straight from the nightclub.
That's exactly it, as you would do. And then at 4:10, I think you'll be pretty dusty by then, won't you?
Yes, we will.
I reckon you will. Up next, ladies and gentlemen, will be the improved production and BMW E30s share the track for our final race of the broadcast today. And we'll have Steve DeVries and Donovan Monhagen on next.
The ASSA and the Victorian State Race Series would like to acknowledge the amazing contribution from these companies, who through their sponsorship of this round have enabled us to provide live coverage of this weekend's racing on Blendline TV. Without their support, this would not have been possible. Please support our sponsors and watch a great weekend's racing on Blendline TV. Did you know Pack Performance have been servicing the rotary and high performance industry for over 34 years? So for all your rotary and high performance needs, give them a call on 02 9792 7076.
Race Fuels is open for business. Their motto is racing fuel has never been easier. Race Fuels are operating on site here at Sandown this weekend. Fuels are available from the Bowser as well as a full range of drum sizes. Race Fuels have stock for distribution Australia-wide. Racing fuel has never been easier at racetracks with both Race Fuels E85 and Elf Race 102 via Bowsers at Sydney Motorsport Park, Queensland Raceway, The Bend and Malaga. Race Fuels is the leading supplier to motorsport from big state to historics to supercars. Race Fuels is the only supplier offering trackside Bowsers and drums.
Raceline Motorsport Racewear are the Victorian distributor for OMP products. They retail an extensive range of only the best brands, including Alpine Stars, Sparco, Bell and Stylo helmets and visors. As well as this, they sell Longacre, Hands and Stand FHR devices, and so much more.
What an intro. Here we go. Final race of the day. It's actually two categories combined into one. Improved production at the front and the BMW E30 Drivers' Cup at the back of the grid. So the biggest combined grid for the weekend at our massive 39 cars. My name is Steve DeVries, and opposite me in commentary on the BMW E30 side of the equation is Donovan Monhagen. And here is how the improved production grid looks. It is Jared Tonks, one-lap wonder, out in front with pole position on his very first flying lap in qualifying because traffic was at such a premium, a 15.9, just a couple of tenths of a second ahead of Luke Gretschkumbo, Kay Lehman and Ian McLennan, who were all very, very close in qualifying, just a tenth and a half separating 2, 3 and 4 on the grid. Then to Peter Dixon and Jinwook Song on row number 3 with Brett Lehman, who's doing some double duty this weekend in the Vic V8s and also in improved production in 7th, with the returning Brad Wyatt in 8th place. Scott McLean starting 9th, his best qualifying result of the season, alongside Dallas Brooks, with Anton Bergman in the BMW E30 improved production car there in 11th and number 66, and Michael Hart in 12th. Then we get to a couple of the under 2 litre cars here. Brett Porter and Larry Merrifield, the two under 2 litre championship combatants, going toe-to-toe there with Richard Valencic and Andrew Barstow in the Volkswagen Golf for 15th and 16th. Callum Jensen's little Peugeot in 17th, Paul Javot's in 18th, Peter McLean 19th, and Andre Noy in 20th. And the grid of improved production cars here keeps going all the way down to about 27th on the grid. Dearden, Decker, Higgins, Neely, and then the last three are 3 Excels in Bodale, Orchard and Harvey. And then we get to the BMW E30s here, Donovan, with the number 4 of Royce Lyon, the pole sitter there.
Yep, Royce Lyon, our defending joint champion from last year. Alongside him is Alex Jury, first round back for a while, followed by Ashley Rogers. We've got a vacant spot after that. Brett Stevens won't be on the grid after a head gasket has been blown. Benjamin Munro on row 3 alongside Tim Freeman, followed by Shannon Cooper, the number 90, and Paul Schiff next to him. We got Brian Burke, then Zachary Dunn and Martin Taylor bringing up the rear end of the grid.
Fantastic grid. One car you mentioned has been lost, so it gets us down to 38 cars. Still a massive grid of BMW E30s and improved production cars. Split grid start, so 10 seconds will be the deficit between, by the time the improved production cars leave, which they're doing now, and the BMW E30s start. So off we go with IP and the 2 Hollands off the front of the road. The HSV Senator on the left there of Luke Gretsch-Cumbo, the pole sitter and the VY Commodore of Jared Tonks on the right. And it is the pole sitter Tonks who takes the high ground into turn number 1 as the E30s are underway now.
Looks like Alex has got a good start there off the line, followed by Royce Lyon there, and I think that's Goose, otherwise known as Ashley Rogers, in 3rd place with Tim Freeman in 4th. First round back after a rollover from this round last year for Tim.
Yeah, I was about to say, we have had a couple of rollovers here in the last few years. You did mention that Tim's still a little bit dirty about what happened with that one.
Well, he's touchy. So,
touchy.
Yeah.
Sorry, touchy is the right word I was looking for there. You're absolutely right. So while the E30s are at turn 2, the top of the grid in IP is up at turn number 6. So there will be a situation in this 20-minute race where you will see the IP cars starting to lap their BMW counterparts at some point, probably around about lap 4, 5 or 6, we're sort of roughly estimating. The difference in lap time is quite staggering when you look at it on paper.
Yeah, I think you guys are at 1:15.
15, 16 versus 27. So, yes, it's quite a large gap. Here we go. So, off to the... This is at the top of the hill at the first lap here. Oh, that's a very, very wide moment for Ian McLennan there in the Monaro, the Pro Cut Tree Services machine. So he's gone wide at the top of the hill, thankfully on his own. I want a big lock-up, and that is from Jinwook Song in the number 121. Now, he's had a fair few upgrades in that car over the last couple of months. He's actually gone and taken the factory computer out, put in a Haltech system, changed the brake boosters, taken the ABS out, and he's actually getting rather used to how much of a brake pedal feel he actually has now, and that will be the reason for the lock-up there. Still getting used to how that car turns and behaves and operates.
Looks like Alex has succumbed to Royce there into turn 1, getting caught up there with one of the Excels from improved production. And looks like Goose might be trying to take good advantage on the outside. No, he's not going to get through there, and we don't have any passing between turns 2 and 4 this afternoon due to some issues on the outside of the track there with the fence. So here we go up the back straight with Alex making his way around that Excel car. Tim and Shannon Cooper following closely behind him. Shannon is our club secretary, and he's having a good run this afternoon. But it looks like I can't make out who is in behind Alex there. That's Goose. Yep. So Goose. Oh, a touch there on the rear quarter for Goose.
Yep, so that's Chris Bodale, who probably, I would say he was probably a little bit unsighted there. He would have known that Alex Jory was there, but probably wasn't expecting another BMW to be following in the wheel track so close.
We do carry a lot of mid-corner through there. The BMW is quite a good handler, but that shows the benefit of that new, well, not so new anymore, the bitumen on the outside there.
Yes, you're absolutely right. The runoff area, which was done for safety reasons a number of years ago. Look at the sign pro entry of Dallas Brooks here. He's been away from the category for about a year and a half, I'd say. A little while between races for him, so good to welcome him back. Anton Bergman in a much more improved BMW E30 a little bit further up the field. We've seen a few of them over the course of time. The most famous one of those we've seen in recent memory is, of course, Rob Braun, who's good friends with Ash Rogers.
He is, yes. Actually,
in E30s.
He built Ash's engine. So Ash is benefiting from some of Robbie's very in-depth know-how.
Yeah, and Ash himself actually had done a couple of races in IP over the years as well. And that's the thing; these two cars, they look very, very, sort of different, and they behave very differently. But technically, the E30s are a 3J logbook car, so they can race in improved production if they want to. It's just that the E30 Garage District Drivers' Cup is a stock category to
That's
an
correct.
extent.
Our regulations are inside the IP regs, but more restrictive than what some of the freedoms that you guys allow. So that's why you'll see the likes of Anton and Robbie going much faster than the other E30s when we're combined. So.
Just noticing Brian Burke's come to pit lane as well, so he's come out of the group of cars about a lap ago. So it's disappointing for Brian, starting off the back of the grid for race 2 tomorrow. This is not an interclass battle, or it is an interclass battle. So Richard Valentich, and probably what is one of the cars that still has the original engine still in it from some years ago. What he often remarks that it's the only true Holden motor still left in the pre-production field, being hunted down here by the front-running, or one of the front-running cars in 2 litres, or under 2 this year, in Brett Porter. Paul Javott's in behind him. Now, Brett's actually given up the lead of that under 2 litre class to Larry Merrifield, the clean duct machine that's just disappeared out of the bottom of shot into turn 6, and they've been going at it all season long so far. They've both had their fair share of dramas, they've both had their fair share of jubilation, and they're very much lockstep with each other for the under 2 litre title overall for the club this year. And then Paul Javott's is about 3rd in that championship standing. As we've got a slow car on the front of the grid here, is that Brett Lehman in the 97, and splitting either side there, Bergman in the 66 and Dallas Brooks in the 178 going either side of Brett Lehman. I'm assuming he's going to try and roll off the end of turn 1 here and hopefully turn to his right, or he might be trying to limp that car back around. Nope, going for the escape road at turn 1, which is probably the smart thing to do. So that's a shame. And here we go. This is where the lapping is starting to become a bit of a problem down here at Dandenong Road, and traffic just being caught at the wrong time for Gretsch Cumbo. There's a few cars, not just in the E30s, but also in improved production that are at a similar pace, and that's now put Cade Lieben right onto the heels of the GC Electrical #1, reigning State Series champion. Here we go, let's have a look at this. So Thompson cleared the traffic up the straight, and this is the trouble. These drivers are in a battle on their own for the class, so it's the job of the overtaking car to get the move done safely in a situation like that.
Probably a similar situation to what we saw earlier with the BMW and Alex, where he was probably unsighted, not expecting him to be on the outside there, but as you say, it's the responsibility of overtaking car. But as a slower car also, you need to be heads-up driving, watching the mirrors. Everybody needs to be safe out there when everybody will come home in one piece.
That's exactly right. So Lehman now going to pile the pressure on Luke Gretsch Cumbo heading up the back straight. It was a minute and a half or thereabouts left. Lehman swings to the outside here at turn 6. It does take 2 to tango through here, and Lehman thinks better of it, can't get the move done. Tucks back in behind the current State Series champion. So good, smart driving there. Lehman, who sits 2nd in the championship, to the man who leads this race at the moment, Jared Thompson, is very close on points, and only this round and one more to go to decide the state title in a bit of an unusual sort of twist to the year. Normally, Improved Production had run all 5 of the state rounds over the course of the years gone past, but only running 4 rounds out of the 6 this year. So a little bit less time to secure a state series crown than normally would have been in years gone past.
Looks like the front of the BMWs are spread out a little bit. We just panned away from them there, but Alex following Royce Line. First race back in that car for him after putting a new motor in, and Tim Freeman behind him going first round back with that car. Looks in awesome condition, both of those cars, and I suppose that's we take the guys take a lot of pride, both in Proof Production and E30, in how their cars look. They're all presented very well here this weekend, so it's not always easy to keep them spit and polished and cleaned. We don't want to see too much contact, but rubbing's racing. A little bit of hello, how you are you is okay.
Well, I've seen a few family members out there across all the categories this weekend, just getting out the spray bottle and wiping the cars down after they've all done. So, I mean, that's what you've got your kids for sometimes, to do those sorts of things. And plenty of drivers bring their families to the racetrack. Racing families, it's a bit of a family activity. It's almost like taking your family to the park, isn't it? There's always some sort of thing you can do with the family. We're getting word this is the last lap of the race, so there's another 3.1 kilometres of racetrack to go for any moves to make and make them stick here. The one of interest is for second and third, Lehman and Gretsch Cumbo. Into turn one they go for the final time here. Now there's no passing at this little part of the racetrack, so that means the next opportunity is going to be up at turn number 6. This is, of course, the last race for the day for the live stream coverage here at Sandown at Motor Raceway. There goes the race lead up. He hasn't gapped the field drastically like he did in previous races around the improved production calendar this year, but here comes Lehman again, and he's almost got 2 wheels in the grass there on the outside, heading up to turn 6. That's a brave move. Is he going to keep it in the lines? He doesn't keep it in the lines, and Gretsch Cumbo gets back up the inside, and they give each other some room, and they get out the other side of Dandenong Road, and I fear that will probably be the end of that challenge for Lehman. He gave it his all, he couldn't pull it off, and he went too wide, and he knows the rule as much as anybody. You can't gain a position by going outside the track limits. So Tonks will take the checkered flag. Great win for the Rod and Gun, number 91 Commodore. Gretsch Cumbo second and Lehman third. And that's Stuart Dearden facing towards the driver's right on the approach to Dandenong Road.
That is definitely not the right direction for that corner.
That is definitely not the right direction for that car. And he's going to have to be careful too to get that car turned, as there were still cars coming down the hill. But here is Alex Jory. Looks like he's going to get the chocolates in the E30 Drivers' Cup race.
Yep, that'll be, I think Royce might have come through in first, so Alex has come through in second.
Yep, you're absolutely right.
Lloyd on the left there.
Yeah, Royce has actually been classified 19th outright for the race there. He is actually in the front of shot here, so he's actually quite a margin at the end of the day.
Yeah, Royce is also racing 86s this year, so he's pulling double duty. I'm not sure that he's racing 86s at this round, but I didn't actually ask him that question. But no, he's racing 86s and E30s at different rounds this year.
Under 2 litre battle here in improved production. This is for the class win here. Merrifield had to fend off a late charge there from Brett Porter, and the 2 Civics across the line with nothing in between them. So that gap diminished at a vast rate of knots in the last couple of laps. And Merrifield, who had to replace a little bit of a coil pack, I think it was, or part of the coil pack in between qualifying and race 1, has managed to hold off the advantage there. I just saw that Tonks had gone around again, actually. So I'm not sure if he must have missed the turn-off point, which is a bit strange. So here's what happened to Stuart Dearden. It's a bit of an unusual thing. Oh, he actually went off and gave the wall quite a shunt. Okay, and good evasive action by Andre Noy and the other field coming down there. So that's a mistake. I was wondering why there was the damage on the front of the Deardens decorating number 35.
Yeah, we couldn't really see that before, could we?
Yeah, we couldn't see that when he was facing the way, but now he's rolled all the way back. That explains a lot. So he's made a mistake coming down the hill.
That'll be more hammer and dolly rather than Windex and a cloth, I think.
Yes, I think you're probably going to be right. I fully expect to see the old hammers out there pulling that apart and sorting that out. That's nothing that can't get sorted before race 2 tomorrow. So that will be his job overnight, and then we'll see them hopefully back out on track together with the BMW E30s at 11:45 a.m. tomorrow morning. There is a little bit of a rejig of the schedule, so 11:45 is what we're expecting for the second race of improved production in BMW E30s. Good entertaining race, that. Good, short, sharp affair.
Indeed, absolutely. It was good to see a couple of cars back on the grid for the E30s at this round, and a couple of newer drivers as well. So, it was definitely good, and there was a little bit of rubbing, but nothing. Well, unfortunately, we're looking at that, but not too much damage for anybody. So,
no, absolutely. Well, that's all we have time here for at Sandown for the first day of round 4 of the Victorian State Racing Series and Circuit Racing Championships, with thanks to 888 Home Loans and, of course, all our sponsors on the Blendline broadcast here this weekend. We'll be with you again tomorrow morning just after 9 a.m. to kick things off again, and look forward to a great entertaining day of racing here. There it is there. At actual fact, it's 9:30 a.m. tomorrow morning. So tune in and we will see you then. Take care and bye for now.